University Fighting Bears won the CIAA championship. But after the 1978 season, this proud program was gone, but not forgotten. And 24 years later, with a vengeance. Built with a young, hard-hitting squad and led by Coach Greg Ruffin, the Fighting Bears are back in business, better than ever, with a 3-1 record. Edward Waters restarted its football program last year after a 34-year absence. Led by Coach Lamont Massey, they've unleashed a tough, high-octane Orange Crush defense on their opponents. Today, two proud schools are back on the gridiron and playing in the first ever Willie Gary Classic, and it's next on MBC. We're at Alltel Stadium in Jacksonville, Florida for this first annual Willie Gary Classic as the Bears of Shaw University take on the Tigers of Edward Waters College. Hello again, everyone. I'm Charlie Neal. Glad you could join us here in Jacksonville for this historic event, as you have two programs that have revitalized football. Shaw University comes into today's game with a 3-1 record, while Edward Waters, this will be the third game of the season for them. They are 1-1. Let me bring in my partner, Jay Walker. And Jay, you look at this Shaw University team, one of the things they'd like to do is establish the run. But one thing they have been successful at so far this season is throwing the ball, as 64% of their offensive yards have come by way of the air.
And you can do that when you have a winner at quarterback like Jermonte Kimbrough. This is a kid that's won state championships on the high school level and is excelling on the college level as well. Having him throw the football is not a bad thing as long as he's producing W's for you week in and week out, Charlie.
And Edward Waters is not bashful when it comes to putting the ball in the air either, as 69% of their offensives come by way of the pass.
Yes, and in this game we have a different type of quarterback in Dexter Davis. He likes to throw the ball on the run a little bit more. He's got leadership, but he has a whole program riding on his shoulders. Coach Massey puts a lot of responsibility on Dexter Davis.
All right, also working with us down on the sideline, Nicole Watson. Let's go down to Nicole right now.
All right, Charlie, thank you so much. We talked about the big offensive line from the Shaw University Bears. With that, look for them to emphasize their running game. But to counter that attack on the side of the EWC ball, you'll see number 27, Cedric Stewart. Now, this guy will be in here. He's a rover. He's a linebacker. He'll line up in that position, but sometimes you might see him as strong safety. He's part of a very young, formidable, quick defensive unit, and we'll see what Coach Massey has set up for those guys. A couple of months ago, Stewart weighed in at 165 pounds, but he hit the weights, bulked up, and now he'll weigh in at 180 pounds. He'll be a true contender for this matchup. Now let's go over to Mark Gray for his side for Shaw University.
Well, thanks a lot, Nicole. You know, about 12 months or so ago, Greg Ruffin left Benedict to become the head coach at Shaw University, and he comes from great stock. When you look at who he played with in college, he played with the late Fred Lane, who went to the Carolina Panthers. His offensive coordinator at Lane College was Jefferson Street Joe Gilliam, and one of his coaching understudies since he left the program has been that of Jason Brookins, who bailed the Baltimore Ravens out last year and is now a member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He preaches discipline, and he says that he has no use for problems. He needs problems about as much as a submarine needs a screen door. Suffice to say, this is a young man that definitely appears to have what it takes to get the job done in Raleigh, North Carolina. Let's go back to you, Charlie.
All right, thank you very much, Mark and Nicole. A great weekend of football action and activities here in Jacksonville. The kickoff for the first annual Willie Gary Classic will be coming up when we return. In part by the Verizon Reads program. Charlie Neal, Jay Walker here at Alltel Stadium, and we're in Jacksonville, Florida. It's the first annual Willie E. Gary Football Classic. And let's go down to the field for the toss of the coin.
Otherwise, Coach will let you know which captain will come forward to discuss penalties or other game situations requiring the decision of the captain. Okay? You'll be the calling captain. That's a tail. That's a head. I want you to call it before I flip it up so there'll be no question as to your decision. Head. You want head. He wants heads. It is a head. It is a head. He's won the toss, and he wants to defer till the second half. White has won, and we'll defer to the second half. You want to receive? Yeah. Yeah, you want to receive. Otherwise, you kick both times. He wants to receive. Which way do you want to kick it, Captain?
Well, one of the things we do know, Jay, that Shaw University, and they told us this yesterday in our meeting with Coach Greg Ruffin, they will always defer. They like to be on defense first. It figures that their defense is so strong, it gives them great field position if they can stop the opposing team's offense on the first drive.
We've got a strategy, laid out game plan, even from the opening toss. That's how much they pay attention to detail at Shaw University. They want their defense to be on the field first because, as the coaches told us before, they feel that their defense is their best offense. So they want to get their offense, which is their defense, on the field first. Sounds a little confusing, but somewhere along there it made sense.
Let's look at the Verizon keys of the game for Shaw University, Jay.
Well, what you're going to see with Shaw University, when you have a defense that's as aggressive as they are, they've got to force turnovers in order to give their team an opportunity to put points on the board. They want to create offensive touchdowns. So far this year, their offense is not caught up to defense. That's not unusual because it's a lot easier to install a defense than it is an offense. And they've got to improve on their special teams play. They can't have the type of penalties where they're snapping the ball over their punter's head, not having field goal connections. They've got to improve on special teams play in order to dominate this football game.
And you see Edward Waters College coming out on the field right now. There's the Shaw University band. They've made the 7-hour trip from Raleigh, North Carolina, down to Jacksonville, Florida. And I understand they brought also 8 buses of fans with them. Let's check out the Verizon Edward Waters keys to winning.
Protect the football. When you've got a defense that's going to attack as much as Shaw University plans to do, Edward Waters, you have to protect the football. You can't afford to turn it over. You've got to stop the Shaw running game. The Shaw offensive line is a lot bigger than the Edward Waters defense, and as a team, Shaw University is bigger than Edward Waters. They've got to stop the running game, and then as you saw as the last sack there, they've got to continue to have success in football.
And you talk about turnovers, 16 turnovers for Shaw University. Of course, they played 4 games as opposed to the 2 games that Edward Waters has played, and they've turned the ball over 7 times. So it can be one of the things that we're going to pay very close attention to today. Who are the ones to watch for Shaw?
Well, some of the ones to watch for Shaw is T.J. Mitchell. He's an explosive player. He's a playmaker. He's a small guy, around 5'8", 175 pounds. But every time he touches the football, he can make exciting things happen. And Waleef Campbell, he's the best player on the team, 6'5", 300 pounds. He's going to be what we call a disruptor of the offense for Edward Waters.
Let's look at the Edward Waters AT&T broadband players to watch.
Starting off right there with the guy you're taking a look at there, Dexter Davis. He's the quarterback. He's the team leader. He's got to keep his team calm when you're trying to take on an opponent that's favored to beat you. And Reggie Jones, this is the linebacker. We've mentioned that Shaw's going to try and stuff the ball down the middle of the field early on. Reggie Jones, the middle linebacker, has to step up big today.
And the kickoff comes down to one of the up men for Edward Waters. They're in their dark orange uniforms. And he brings it across the 30 to about the 31-yard line, and that's where Edward Waters will go to work. First down and 10, first possession of the ball game. Dexter Davis, the quarterback for Edward Waters College. You see the numbers on him: 3 touchdowns, 3 INTs. His offensive skill players: Woods, Tubolino, Dante Moffitt can fly. Dexter Gant, well Span is the tight end. It is first down and 10. They're running out of the pro set I. And back to pass is Davis on first down, throws, and it goes incomplete on the far sideline, intending it for Dexter Gant. And let's look at the offensive line for Edward Waters. Bingham, Coleman, Corey Brown, Clinton Chasteen Jr., and James Ellison. Everybody up front. A sophomore with the exception of Bingham, who is a junior. It is second down and 10. One lone setback behind the quarterback, Davis, and he gets the handoff and spinning and still keeping his feet and getting some valuable yards. Let's look at the offense. Office Depot offense for Edward Waters. That was Wilton Irvin on the carry. The defense for Shaw University after the 7-yard gain. The linebackers are Woodard, Collins, and Maddox. There's the secondary. Anthony Maddox, Anwar Smith, Rafi Sims. A good group of guys back there, along with Linton Jones. On short yardage situation, it was 3rd and about on 3. They keep the ball on the ground, but Kevin Grant not able to pick up a first down as he stopped short at about the 37-yard line. So they'll have to punt it away. That'll bring on Jimmy Rhodes, who does all the kicking. Freshman out of Jacksonville, Florida, averaging on the punt department 31 yards per punt. Sean Woodard, the deep man for Shaw University, almost blocked, and we're going to get a roughing the kicker penalty against Shaw University. And out of bounds on the near sideline is Sean Woodard, but we're going to get a running into the kicker against Shaw University, so that's going to give them a first down.
And what you're going to see is a little too anxious. The defender for Shaw got blocked into the punter, but as he punter released the ball, that shove right there, he took a poor angle to attack the block. Anytime you're trying to block a kick, you want to aim 3 yards ahead of the punter, not directly at the punter. Good job acting there by the punter. No need to act when you're getting your head knocked off. Costly mistake for Shaw University. That's to give Edward Waters the ball back.
Justin Williams was the man guilty of the infraction.
15 yards.
So a 15-yard penalty being assessed against Shaw University. Already in the ball game, Shaw came into the game in the penalty department averaging 85 yards a game in penalties.
And that's something that you can't have. You want, hopefully, as the coach's motto is, they want to get better day by day, week by week. You want that number of penalties to go down less and less. That's not a good sign to start off with a penalty on the very first punt of the game.
Behind the quarterback, Dexter Davis, is Leroy Woods. One of the backs in the eye, the second back in the eye. And the play action gets it off, but under a lot of pressure from the defense. And that was led by the linebacker Kevin Maddox, number 21, out of Raleigh, North Carolina Cardinal Gibbons High.
And what you have here is a weak side blitz. They're blitzing the outside linebacker. He'll come from the left side of your screen. The quarterback is unprotected. What happened there was the running back, Leroy Woods, was responsible for blocking the outside linebacker. He missed his assignment and got his quarterback pummeled.
We're in the first quarter, 13:08, no score. That's the time remaining. As you look at the back of Kevin Maddox there, transferred out of Carson Newman College. Kevin Maddox, it is second down and 10. Here's the pitch to the right side. Getting some running room and getting into the secondary is Woods. Woods has some room. He's at the 10, 5, and out of bounds at about the 2-yard line.
Great run by Leroy Woods.
Leroy Woods picking him up, laying him down for 46 yards. And for him, that is the longest run of the year. The previous was 37.
This is the run that's designed to be a sweep outside. When you have a scat back like Leroy Woods, he cuts against the grain of the defense. An aggressive defense that's attacking to the left side of the field. He cuts it back to the right and turns on the jets when he gets to the sideline and almost gets in, and he's stopped out of bounds at around the 2 to 3 yard line. Leroy Woods, great running back, 5'7", 182 pounds. Not a lot to tackle there, so if you're going to try and get him down, you better wrap him up because he's hard to find.
First and goal at the 2 for Edward Waters. And they give it and keep it on the ground with Grant taking it in from 2 yards out. Touchdown, Edward Waters.
It all goes back to that penalty on the punt team there. That's something that you just could not have. Shaw University, we knew that penalties would be costly. Right now, instead of getting the football at an even football game, now you're looking at a 7-0 deficit possibly if they make the PAT when your offense first touches the field.
Jimmy Rhodes in for the PAT. He's missed 1 this year, 2 of 3 in that department, and now they don't have all the people on the field, and now the holder is screaming for an extra body to come out there. Here's a barefooted young man, Jimmy Rhodes. I know that hurts, especially if he's kicking it in the cold. Maybe a day like today, it won't matter. For the point after and a 7-0 lead. Edward Waters, the kick is up. It hits the upright, no good. Bounces back, but Edward Waters draws first blood in this first annual Willie Gary Classic. 12:47 the time remaining here in the first quarter. And there, the barefooted kicker hits the upright. We'll be back. We're in Jacksonville. Shaw and Edward Waters, 6-0 our score. here. Here's look at the touchdown again as Edward Waters has taken a 6-0 lead.
And what you have here is big on big. You've got a big fullback that gave the ball to Grant, 6 feet, 240 pounds, lowering his shoulder pad level. But this run play designed to go on the inside, squaring up and bouncing the ball to the outside where he can take on some of those DBs, the guys that weigh a little bit less. Great inside-outside running by the fullback, Kevin Grant.
And here's the kickoff. Comes on the near side to McIver. And McIver takes it back up to about the 35-yard line. And that's where Shaw will go to work. First down and 10. From their own 35-yard line, trailing 6-0. Jamonte Kimbrough is the quarterback. Knows how to lead. Won 2 state titles in high school in Mobile, Alabama at Blunt High. And he's in charge of leading this team right now. Has thrown for a pair of touchdowns so far this year and run for 1. First down and 10 for him. Also a pro-type offense for Edward Waters. And they have a lead fullback that weighs in excess of 300 pounds. And he didn't hit anybody that particular time as they kept the ball on the ground with Reggie Price. Let's look at the rest of the offense for Edward Waters College. Jeffrey Neal will make that Shaw University. Reggie Price, Dwayne Payne, Mark Branson, and Calvin Grimes is the tight end. The offensive line, a good one. Corey Hutchinson is the man in the middle. Second down. Keeping it on the ground once again. Price keeps the ball, fumbles the ball, and let's see who comes up with it. They must have not turned it over, but he did fumble. It may have went out of bounds, and one of the things that Shaw has been guilty of is fumbleitis a little bit this year. They fumbled the ball 16 times coming into the game. That's an average of 4 a game, and they lost 11 of those 16 fumbles, Jay, and that's not something you want to see. In fact, they lost their opener in a 3 overtime game to Fork Union at the goal line on a fumble in the 3rd overtime.
That's something you can't turn over the football, and fumbles are an instant key to not having success on the football field. It's a quick way to lose football game.
Close to the first down. Let's look at the defensive line for Edward Waters. Jarris White, Derek Roberts, Aaron Jones, and Charles Frazier. Aaron Jones really impressive up front. Reggie Jones in the middle. The secondary, Edward Waters, Fenelon, Ellis, Paul Jackson, and Glenn Walker.
And it looks like what they're going to do here is try and set the tempo early. They're thinking about going for it on 4th down, but they may change their mind. That would be a real gutsy call to go for it on the very first series on 4th and short. Seems like coach is making the right decision and punting the ball away.
And it'll be William Sanders to come on to do the punting, averaging 35.6 yards per punt. There he is, young man out of Smithfield, North Carolina. And we got a whistle. Flags down. I don't know what we're going to see. Delay of game or what? Maybe illegal motion.
They stopped. It's got to be some type of offensive penalty if they're stopping the play.
Dead ball foul, encroachment, offsides on the defense, first downs.
Boy, how lucky can you get? The offsides on the defense. It's an automatic first down. As you look at the referees for today's game, Dan Stacy is our referee and the rest of his crew. So 1st and 10 on the penalty against Shaw University, and Edward Waters has life at midfield. First down. Something you always hope for but never think it's going to happen, right? The defense is going to jump off sides. Price, the second back in the eye, Neal the up back, and it goes to Price, trying to follow Neal, and he gets back to the line of scrimmage, and maybe he lost a yard. Price out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Mount Tarver is the high school he matriculated from. Didn't play against St. Paul in their last outing. because of an injury. And it hurt the team because they were held to a minus 20 yards rushing in that particular game. And Price has been their leader on the ground. He's averaging 4.7 yards a carry. Came into today's game with 306 yards rushing. Back to pass. His first pass is Kimbrough. Throws it out in the flat, intended for Jeff Neal, and Jeffrey couldn't hold on.
Wow, look at the big fella there. Neal, 6'1", 300-pound fullback. He's not going to be too agile on his feet. You got to throw him a perfect pass all the time almost. They say he runs a 4-something 40. When they're that big,
faster than you, huh?
When they're that big, you don't even want to hear the 4. 300 pounds, you're supposed to start off with 5-point-something.
What you do is make sure he doesn't get ahead of steam. You stop him before he gets in the fourth gear.
Trying to stop a train.
That's right. If he gets in the fourth gear, it's all over. On third down, third and long. Kimbrough looking. Throws incomplete. Trying to hit Reggie Price coming out of the backfield on a crossing pattern. And it'll bring up a fourth down punting situation once again. So they started at their own 35. But helped by a penalty of offsides against Shaw University and still unable to convert. In fact, lost the yard and they'll punt from their own 49.
A little bit of two disappointing series. You went 3 and out for the most part. I know that Shaw University wants to run the football, but if the team knows that that's all you're going to try and do early on, they're going to do whatever they can to stuff it.
Jones, the deep man, to receive the punt for Shaw University. Hits his hands. He has to dive on it at the 15-yard line. So it actually will be marked at the 14, and that's where Edward Waters will go to work. First down and 10. 6-0 our score. Edward Waters on top after a 36-yard punt. We'll be back. Is brought to you by Office Depot. What you need to know. AT&T Broadband and the Verizon Reach program. Back here at Alltel Stadium, Charlie Neal, Jay Walker, 6-0 our score. Let's go down to Nicole Watson on the sideline.
All right, Charlie, thank you so much. Well, Coach Lamont Massey is known as a disciplinarian for the Tigers. He wants good student athletes, partly because his discipline and work ethic comes from being a captain in the Army Reserves. Now, on this team, you will see no slouching pants, no haircuts above 1 inch, no dreadlocks, no cornrows, nothing. He expects to see work and progress reports from his students, high academic standards, and good attendance. He expects them to respect each other as well as the administration and faculty. And to that, we say, yes, sir. Captain Macy. Now back to you, General Neal.
All right. Thank you so much, Nicole. You saw a lot of that crystal ball, didn't you?
She sure did. I don't know if she's calling you a general. You're more like a dictator to me. Dictator Neal's more like it.
Edward Waters with the ball. Actually, no gain on the play.
And I like what they're trying to do. Go back to Leroy Woods. He seems like he's got the happy feet in this game. He's going to be hard to take down. They may try and get him the ball on some screens, some reverses. He seems like he could be an exciting player in this football game today.
And one of the things that Coach Massey said is he had a bevy of running backs, and he's used a bunch so far here this afternoon as they keep the ball on the ground and they pick up some good yards with a young man by the name of Terrell Randolph running the ball that time out of Rains High here in Jacksonville, Florida, who's produced a lot of good players.
The mighty Rains High. I've got Rod Gardner, wide receiver for the Redskins, is from Rains High. Dawkins is from free safety for the Philadelphia Eagles. Football deep here in football-rich Florida, Rains High in Jacksonville.
Full house backfield for Edward Waters. They keep it on the ground. Here's a big bruising running back again. Here's Randolph at 230, 6 feet. And he came in with a touchdown averaging 3 yards a carry, and that picks up a first down across the 30 out to the 32-yard line.
Yeah, and think about this for a minute. Coming into this football game, we thought that Edward Waters was going to have to run outside the tackles on the outside perimeter to stay away from Waleed Campbell. They're taking it right up the gut right now, right to him, and having some success.
And some more yards gained for Edward Waters College as Randolph again gets the call. So Randolph is the man of record right now for Edward Waters.
And what they're doing is they're getting them with a little no huddle. No huddle, and the team's getting 3 or 4 yards of pop every time they're running the football on you. Those D linemen are going to get tired real fast.
Well, they came up and met the challenge that time as the run was stuffed by the interior of the defensive line for Shaw University, and the Bears led by Kevin Maddox, number 21.
And one of the things that I think when I talked to Coach Massey in the pregame, he had a little twinkle in his eye. He said, they're going to see some things from us they haven't seen. This no huddle may be something with the no huddle and the heat here in Florida.
78 to 8 yards. Edward Waters ahead in the rushing department. And they're still keeping the ball on the ground. And if it works,
don't fix it.
Don't fix it, right? If it's not broke. And they move it out to the 45-yard line. And it's another first down for Edward Waters, and they're gaining all this on the ground, and Randolph has 25 of those 80-plus yards for Edward Waters so far.
And then now they may bait them and try some type of play-action pass, because what Shaw has done is tried to add 8 men close to the line of scrimmage to try and stop that run.
One of the things you always want to do is set up the run or have the run set up the pass, and here is Davis back to pass, and it's knocked away by one of the linebackers who was in the middle of the field and got his hand on it. That was Devin Collins, the weak side linebacker out of Lauderhill, Florida. 2 sacks coming into the ball game.
They set him up nicely for that one there. Collins is one of those Collins boys. You got 2 brothers on the team that start for the Shaw University defense from Lauderhill, Florida. They set him up nicely. They had the 2 runs. They had man-to-man coverage on the outside. Quarterback Davis has to make a little bit better throw and decision where to go with the football.
In and out of the hands of the intended receiver. That's Dexter Gant, who didn't hold on that particular time, and to bring up 3rd down. You talk about the Collins boys. Jameson is the defensive end, and his brother, the younger brother, Devin, is the linebacker on the weak side.
That just shows you about football, how you can always find your niche. You've got one brother that's 6'5", 245 pounds, the other one 6'2", 245. So what does that mean? You got one defensive end, long, a little bit more rangy. You got one inside linebacker, a little bit stockier build.
3rd and 10. Edward Waters. Quick pass in the flat. Trying to get to the first down. Gant holds on this time, but finally written out of bounds in front of the Edward Waters bench. In fact, that was Dante Moffitt, rather, on the reception. And he's going to be short by about 2 or 3 yards of a first down. That'll bring on the punting unit.
Moffitt's one of those guys. He's a burner. They want to find ways to get him the football. He said he likes to run the deep route. Well, there the coach kind of gave him a change-up, gave him a little screen, 1-yard pass past the line of scrimmage, see if he can make somebody miss and explode to the outside, and he almost picked up a first down.
They're back to punt it away. Edward Waters, Jimmy Rhodes. Fair catch being called for, made at the 16-yard line by Sean Woodard. And that's where Shaw will go to work at their own 16. Second possession for them when we come.
It's Charlie Neal and Jay Walker.
All right, thank you. It is 2nd down. Back to pass. Kimbrough trying to set up the screen. Looked like he had a man downfield. He fumbled the ball, and Edward Waters has come up with it, and we have a penalty flag. We may have a face mask against number 55. That's the center, Corey Hutchins, out of Goldsboro, North Carolina. Let's see. If it is, it gives Edward Waters great field position with a 1st and goal at the 3-yard line. And for Kimbrough, another fumble on the Shaw University books. And
after the change of possession, face mask on the defending team, it'll be half the distance to the goal line. First down for Red.
And that was an example of the quarterback staying with the wide receiver too long. As you take a look at it, the quarterback's going to have his attention over here. His wide receiver over here is going to run a double move to the outside. You'll see great coverage by the Edward Waters defense. Watch Kimbrough make up his mind and commit to throwing the ball on this double post move. When he's not there, when the receiver stops running the route because there were 2 defenders there, you got to chuck the football and get rid of it. He's still looking downfield. Locking in on one receiver will get you in trouble all the time. And as you see the big fella come here and pick up the football, Aaron Jones, I'm sure he's grabbed a couple face masks before in his time, so he wasn't complaining too much about it. Just moves him that much closer to the goal line.
And they're keeping the ball on the ground, trying to get to the corner. And a loss of yards as the defense stuffed it, came up and made a very good play to make sure they don't get into the end zone that particular time. A loss of 3 yards on the play. Shaw University, led by Anwar Smith, the defensive back.
I don't think in this situation you just come out and come with a full house backfield with 3 people in the backfield. You've got to give them a play action. I'd like to see him go full house backfield with 3 people in the backfield, play action pass, dink it to your tight end and one of your running backs, they'll be wide open.
Woods is the second back in the eye on 2nd and goal. Woods has the pitch, turns the corner, back to the original line of scrimmage at the 3, maybe a yard gain on the play. And he won't get in. The white jerseys of Shaw do a good job of cutting down the corner.
Yep. This is gut check time right now for the Shaw University defense. Right now they're taking amongst themselves. The guys up front want to win this battle and get to the football to say, hey, even though we're giving you the ball on a short field, we can stop you even if we put the ball on the 1-yard line. And right now they're rising up to the challenge. 1 more down to go.
Woods again, the second back in the eye. Woods has the pitch, trying to come to the left side this time, trying to cut inside, following his blocker, and gets into the end zone. And we get a flag, and let's see, it may be holding against Dexter Gant, the receiver.
Late flag. I don't know about that one, Charlie. Looked like the official was going to see if he got in before he threw the flag. Looks like the wide receiver on the outside. That might have been Gant holding on to some jersey because
holding
reason.
Offense, be 10 yards from the goal line where the flag was. Repeat the foul.
So, therefore, instead of a touchdown, they're going to wipe it away. Let's watch. Good job by the running back, though, to follow his blocker.
Yeah, he stretched the ball as far out as he could, and it seemed like when he was getting by, that's there. At that point, once your running back is outside of you, you almost want to let your guy go and let the defender go catch him if he can. In that case, I don't think that he was going to catch Leroy Woods.
Here's the penalty so far. Edward Waters there, second of the game, 16 yards. Shaw's been penalized once. It's 3rd down and goal from the 11 for Edward Waters. Back to pass. Davis looks inside. Touchdown. Edward Waters College from 11 yards out. It's Gant who atoned for the holding penalty on the previous play.
Great foul. Anytime you make a penalty as a football player, you're always saying to yourself, Coach, give me another chance to make up for my mistake. Gant did an excellent job of getting to the inside release against man-to-man coverage. He beat his guy initially off the line of scrimmage. Great throw by your quarterback, Dexter Davis. Showed good poise in the face of getting hit.
Remember, this all was set up by a fumble by Shaw University's Jamonte Kimbrough. And now they're going for the point after. Remember, it hit last point after attempt, hit the upright. Let's see what Edward Waters, Jimmy Rhodes can do this time. It is up, and it is no good. So he has missed 2 so far this afternoon, but they still lead it by a score of 12-0 with 4:25 remaining in the first quarter. So if they can hold on.
Smart man.
Yes, he is.
Smart man. Like he's a university president. He knew something that we didn't. He studied when he went to class, Charlie.
Jimmy Jenkins. Yes, indeed. From the 16-yard line, Edward Waters on defense. Shaw returning the kickoff, trailing 12-0. And they'll start this drive at their own 34-yard line. This will be their 4th possession of the afternoon.
What we'll see here is you're going to get a pick play on the outside. You're faking a screen that they did earlier. The receiver, Dexter Grant, did a great job of making the inside receiver think he was coming to block him and slip right past him for the touchdown. They set that up earlier when they ran the wide receiver screen behind the line of scrimmage. This time they faked the pass behind the line of scrimmage and went upfield for the touchdown.
New quarterback in the lineup for Shaw University, and he picks up some valuable yards. That is Gerard Everett, who's in the lineup right now at 5'9", a very small tall in stature in terms of height, 180-pound freshman out of Greensboro, North Carolina. And you'll hear us talk about a lot of freshmen in this particular lineup. All but 9 of the players in Shaw University's lineup are freshmen.
And that's a good thing. That's why they feel that with their offense, they have time to learn the offense that they're going to be most comfortable running. There's no rush. They made that real clear. There's no rush here to be freshmen. We're not even in the conference yet. We'll be in one in years to come.
Then Kimbrough got dinged up, or coach is just bringing him out because of the fumble. Here's a pitch to the left side to McIver, and McIver is down to the 40-yard line. That last run was a 23-yard run by Gerard Everett, the quarterback, who's in there right now. Let's look at the MBC top 10. Bethune-Cookman on top with the perfect record, followed by FAMU, Grambling, South Carolina State, and Alcorn. On the pitch to the right side this time. Again, they're trying to get it to Don McIver. McIver to the 40-yard line. He still needs about 4 or 5 yards for the first down. And the rest of the top 10, the other unbeaten school from the SIC is Tuskegee. They're idle today along with Hampton, who's 2-2, followed by Fort Valley, Jackson State, and Alabama State.
That Jackson State team is starting to pick up some momentum. They started off with a slow start. They're going to be pretty good towards the end of the year. Robert Kent's starting to find his groove.
Everett back to pass, throws, and has it complete, but it's going to be short of a first down on the near sideline. Grimes on the receiving end of that. Let's go down to Mark Gray.
Thanks a lot, Charlie. If you'll notice, there's been a substitution at the quarterback position. There doesn't seem to be anything wrong with Kimbrough. He's just sitting on the bench right now. I guess the coaching staff just wants him to cool out. You know, he seemed like he was one of those quarterbacks that Jake could realize, understand that when you come into a big contest like this, you're kind of overly pumped and you make bad decisions. Back up to you.
And they keep the ball on the ground, running it straight ahead this time. And Shaw University running with McIver. McIver's been a workhorse so far in this particular drive. On student body left, student body right, and then right up the middle.
And I think that's one of the things they made this coaching staff, they made a decision, well, there's no point in us act like we're going to throw the football today. Let's get the option quarterback in there right away, make them defend the option rather than have some balance. Gerard is clearly a better option quarterback than Kimbrough is.
At the 30-yard line, first down and 10 on the option. And the quarterback keeps it, and he gets in the secondary. Still spinning, they fumbled the ball. And let's see who has it. It looks like Shaw was able to recover. Somebody was that McIver there on the spot?
Johnny on the spot.
Yes, it was. McIver picked up the fumble. So both the quarterbacks having trouble holding on to the ball right now. We have a penalty flag down. Let's see what it is.
And what he does as an option quarterback, you always want to attack the line of scrimmage. You don't want to run sideways the whole time. You want to start attacking, he was getting ready to pitch the football. The pitch got there to him anyway. And what he did a good job of was attacking the line of scrimmage, but he has to have a little bit more presence about him where he is. And after you've broken the original line of scrimmage, those people that are chasing you from behind, where are they? They did a good job of coming from behind to force the strip.
And the face mask penalty adds 5 more yards onto the run, so it's a first and goal for Shaw University at the 6 of Edward Waters, the deepest penetration they've had so far in this ball game. McIver has the pitch, follows the fullback, stopped at the 2-yard line. He was hit initially at about the 4 and finally dropped at the 2. And another flag down, or as a penalty, a player down at about the 9-yard line for Edward Waters. It looked like he had a real big hole to run through, and it closed up quickly on him. Yeah. And he was following big Jeff Neal in there.
Yeah, and what he tried to do was just get outside and look like it was wide open. But what happened when you have a smaller defense, they're going to be a little bit quicker. They beat them to the hole with a swarm of bees. You saw guys coming in there jumping on the running back like they were some honey, and they were just a bunch of killer bees swarming to the football.
And there you look at McIver for Shaw University on 4 carries, averaging 3 so far in this game. And players shake it up for Edward Waters getting up under his own power, going off as Joe Riley out of New Orleans, Louisiana, sophomore. There he is.
Hey, what's up? Big fella seems like, and you like when you see that type of walk when he starts gaining back some mobility. You're going to see him on the left side of the screen as he comes in there. A lot of times what happens is that you just don't know where everybody's coming from. So that's what happened there. And he's running inside that pile. And anytime you get caught standing around a pile, you never know what's going to happen. But one of the things that I get excited about, Charlie, you know, I love football. You get these option quarterbacks, they're exciting, aren't they? I mean, Jamel Holloway, Charles Thompson, those guys, Oklahoma, Steve Taylor. I know football. I know option. You can't just be a quarterback that knows just how to throw it. I wish I had those type of wheels they had.
I know you weren't an option quarterback.
I broke 150 yards before, Charlie, but Gerard Everett does a good job of being an option quarterback, and it's kind of hard to scout against an offensive. It was wide open hole.
I was going to say.
You could have walked that one. But I like to see Everett here take it in himself with a little fake pitch because he's got a lot of shake with him.
Second and goal to the second back throw with no problems. Into the end zone is Clinton McGirt, freshman out of Parkland, Florida's Douglas High. And that is his second rushing touchdown this year. So Shaw University gets on the board with 45 seconds left here in the first quarter. This drive started at their own 34-yard line. They went 66 yards. And on for the point after is Chester Charles. He is 9 of 11 in that department, and he is good. Making 10 of 12 so far this year, and we have a 12-7 ball game.
What you're going to see here is just some power running up the gut of the teeth of the defense. McGirt does a good job of cutting in there, making one cut initially to make him miss, getting in the end zone. Power on power football, good power running by Quentin McGirt. Take a look at the high angle ends here. What you're going to see is he's going to initially start off with the ball this way, make a cut back this way. When you're down in the goal line, you just want to run the daylight, and that's what Quentin McGirt does. He does a good job of running the daylight. Look at the hole, make the cut, get in there for the touchdown, keep the shoulder pads low, because somebody's going to pop you when you get around the goal line. You're always going to get hit.
Well, MBC Network says thank you to our sponsors for this event: Office Depot, AT&T Broadband, and Verizon. Your support has helped to bring this community together for a great cause, supporting historically black colleges and universities. And we have a 12-7 ball game. So Shaw University, after a couple of miscues, and they were able to put a 66-yard drive together and put 7 points on the board. 5-point ball game right now, as Chester Charles gets ready to kick it off. Cornelius Jones on the far side, Marcus Clark on the near side. It'll come down to Jones at about the 2:17. And Jones is into the secondary. Jones across midfield, tripped up by the kicker, right at about the 34-yard line.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
Rule number one, if you're the return guy, you don't let the kicker make the tackle. He just negated a fantastic run in my eyes by letting the kicker tackle. What are you doing? He does a great job of seeing the seam on the defense. He's got a high step through the hole with a great spin move once he gets in traffic, bouncing off of defenders. And then you've got the kicker. Look at the kicker. Look, the kicker was looking for a place to fall down.
A 50-yard return for Edward Waters and for Cornelius Jones. And on 1st and 10, Dexter Davis has a pass dropped by the receiver at the 27-yard line. Just could not hold on was Dante Moffitt, young man out of Palm Bay High School in Palm Bay, Florida. Came into the game as the leading receiver on the team with 10 receptions.
Couldn't tell by that play there, but one of the things about it, Dexter Davis doing a good job. Continue to make those reads. I like the fact that he threw to the guy that was wide open. He was making smart decisions. They'll catch it later. You can't throw it and catch it.
And here's the pitch to the near side. Trying to get some running room is Terrell Randolph, who has been the workhorse in the running game. Came into that run with 28 yards on 5 carries. That was his 6th. attempt so far today.
And that's the one good thing about any time Shaw came in here as the favorite. They played more games. They've got more experience. They're the bigger football team. But there's something about these football teams in Florida. That Florida pride kicks in, and they don't believe in losing games at home.
That's the end of the first quarter. A couple of touchdowns. Davis, an 11-yard pass to Gant, made it 12-0 Edward Waters. And then McGirt comes back with the 2-yard run. And that puts Shaw on the board. We're at the end of one. Stay with us. Edward Waters on top, and Edward Waters threatening again with the ball. First down and 10. We'll make it third down. Correction. Third down and about 7 from the 30-yard line. Davis back to pass. Has man up way deep, and he fell down. The offensive receiver fell down. That was Dante Moffitt, who was trying to get open on a deep post pattern, and he fell down at about the 2-yard line, so the ball goes incomplete. It'll bring up a fourth down situation. I don't think they're going to try for the field goal, not with the way the guy's been kicking extra points.
I wouldn't. Would you try that one? That's kind of the easy decision there, and I'm pretty sure that if they score a touchdown to get in the game, they will go for 2.
Remember, Lamont Massey is the offensive coordinator, the head coach. Last year, he had an offensive coordinator, and he decided he'd take over those duties this year. Here's a little play action, and they throw it deep. Has a man there, lays out for it. It just falls incomplete. He was trying to get it to Russell Penn. Let's go down to Dwayne Ballin on the sideline.
Charlie, I am joined by another one of the co-founders of MBC Network, Marlon Jackson. Tell us about what's on the horizon for this network.
Well, I think the major broadcasting network, the Black College Sports that we do, the live Black College Sports, is one of the big things. Because these kids, now that they know that they can be seen in 23 million homes here domestically and 6 million homes abroad, I mean, they're excited, they're pumped. And that should generate a lot of these kids are coming back to some of these historical black colleges. And that's one of the major things. But we show movies, we show sitcoms, we show news, so we're moving forward and we're proud of it.
This event is just the first year. What are you planning for this event to be 2-3 years from now?
Well, we think that the stadium eventually it'll catch, the people will catch on, and you'll see more people here, and people understand what the movement is all about, and people start supporting what we're doing, and that's what's going to. You have to start somewhere.
By the way, this is an Edward Waters hat. Now, I don't want to cause discord with you and your buddy Willie Gary, but that's the wrong hat.
Well, no, not really, because I'm just shooting for the best team. I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. This is the hometown of Edward Waters, and not only the hat goes with my shirt, so it's cool with me.
Charlie, he's a diplomat and a fashion plate, all rolled into one.
He was a Jackson 5, too, wasn't he?
Well, it's easy to wear that hat when they got the lead. Let's see if he has it on if this lead ever changes. He may go find another hat to wear if he was smart.
Sean Boyd, the tailback on the run for Shaw University.
And what you're seeing here is they've done a good job of exploiting the outside. They came in here, Edward Waters, thinking that they were going to get stuffed up the middle. Well, now they brought in the option quarterback. Now it becomes a complete shift in your defense. From the middle of the field to the outside of the field, testing the perimeter.
Pitching back again, trying to get it to Boyd. Boyd is wrapped up and loses maybe a yard. That was a 1st and 10 play. Mark Gray down on the sideline. Let's go down to Mark now.
Charlie, thanks a lot. Shaw offensive coordinator Edward Bailey is going to jump the pro set, and they're going to go with a lot more option. He told his team, quote, get what you can. Don't lean or try to reach for extra yards. As you remember on their first possession, trying to get that extra yards, they turned the ball over. Back up to you guys.
All right, Edwin Bailey, a former South Carolina State standout, played in the NFL with the Seattle Seahawks and is now the offensive coordinator at Shaw. Also on the offensive side of the ball, Jimmy Johnson played at Howard University and tight end with the Redskins.
It's you.
Which one? I forgot you went to HU.
I went to Howard University, the real HU. Although Hampton's a factor, they were second, we were first. We can't claim football dominance, but we can claim being the first HU. What you saw there was a simple dive play, and to you all at home, it looks just like a simple play. Why did they even waste it? But the key to having a successful option wishbone attack is that fullback dive, the threat that you could run the ball right up the middle of the defense. So when they run that dive play, they're just keeping the defense honest, and every now and then you'll spring the big one.
3rd and 8 from the 48. chance to take it in, take it to the house.
I guess we know why he plays defense now. Wide receiver that can't catch. Leonard Davis did a fantastic job of breaking on the football. The quarterback looked his receiver down too much, and as he did, the defender broke on the ball, had an opportunity, nobody to tackle him, for sure touchdown. I think he might have been thinking about a celebration, and ooh, it hurts to drop those right there.
Yes, it does. And a punting situation facing Shaw University. Third punt of the afternoon for Shaw. Fair catch called for and made at the 20-yard line by Darnelius Jones. So there's a timeout on the field. 12:02 the time remaining. There's a flag down, though. Let's see what happens. We'll find out when we come back. Jay Walker, Dwayne Ballin, Nicole Watson, Mark Gray, a lot of us here, along with the whole NBC staff. And they had to re-kick and watch this poor kick that Charles William Sanders got off. It actually was a -4 yards on the punt. They kicked it from their own 34, and it wound up at the 30. So Edward Waters with good field position once again at the Shaw 30-yard line. The last time they were stopped on downs after only 2-yard gain. Let's see what happens this time. Again, keeping the ball on the ground. Edward Waters College trying to get something going, leading 12-7. Let's go down to Nicole.
All right, Charlie. Tiger coaches and staff are very concerned today because it is extremely hot outside. Now, it is unofficially 99 degrees, but 102 degrees down here on the field. Right now, this is a trainer's best friend. Head trainer for the Tigers, Robert Duchero, says he wants to make sure his staff is ready with the water and, of course, some wet towels.
You need everything today. Of course, also the home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. They'll be playing here tomorrow against the Jets. Sean Butler, the up man in the eye. Second man through is Woods. He gets the ball. Fumbles up the yards. Fumbles the ball. Let's see who has it. And it's Shaw University comes up with it. So the first fumble of the day by Edward Waters. And let's see if Shaw can capitalize.
And what you're going to see here is a fantastic run by the running back. Whereas on the Shaw University side of the football, they're talking about having their guys go down. It's going to be a stretch play with the little guy in here. He's going to get his pad level down. He's going to bounce it to the outside once he gets daylight. He likes to run outside the tackle, trying to get that extra yard, where Shaw University is telling their guys, hey, get what you can, then get down. Edward Waters is still trying to go for the kill, trying to get the extra yard, the result in the turnover. We talked about turnovers at the opening of this game. When you have young and experienced teams, two programs been around just 2 years, they need game repetition. Practice, you hit to contact, you never take them all the way down to the ground. That's why you're seeing some fumbles now.
And they're keeping the ball on the ground. The man who came up with that recovery for Shaw University was Ralph Davis. But again, Shaw University defense stiffening, causing some and creating some problems. They've had problems with turnovers themselves early on in the year, while Edward Waters has created the first turnover of the ball game. In fact, coming into this game, Edward Waters in 2 ball games had fumbled the ball 9 times and had lost 4. Second down. Again, keeping the ball on the ground and going into the gut of the defense. We got another flag down. Penalties have been a thing that's hurt as Reggie Price gets the carry. When you look back on what's happened this season, Shaw University started the season with a loss to Fork Union, 20-14 in 3 overtimes. Kimbrough threw 2 touchdown passes, but they lost
5-yard face mask on the defense. We got to see whether it's going to reach a first down.
And to continue the season, that was an overtime game that they lost 3 overtimes. They also lost 6 fumbles in that game. They beat George Mason 27-14. Rafi Sims had a pair of interceptions. The defense held George Mason to 175 total yards. They beat Allen 35-12 without Kimbrough. Kimbrough didn't play in that game with a finger laceration, and the defense allowed 157 yards. Last week they beat St. Paul 16-14. Shaw held a 75 total yards, but what helped them was a 100-yard interception return by Nunley that gave them the win. Here's a 1st and 10 after the penalty of face mask against Edward Waters. The ball at the 31-yard line, but a loss of 1. on that particular play.
And what you're seeing here is this right now, this Edward Waters defense is hyped up and they're excited and they're pumped and they can't wait till Shaw University snaps the football. They feel that they can stuff Shaw at will. What you got to do is get Gerard outside the pocket, help him develop some outside running abilities, find a lane. A guy with his quickness and explosiveness can find one little crease and take it a long way, as we saw earlier in the football game.
Price, the second back in the eye behind Jeff Neal. He goes to Price. He stumbles into the defense of Edward Waters, which was led by Reggie Jones, the middle linebacker. Communications major from the same hometown in Ellen, Florida, is Dante Culpepper, Minnesota Vikings.
He can throw the football, can he?
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
And there's Mr. Price hobbling off. Here's the stats on him. 12 yards on 8 carries out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
That's tough running right there. 8 carries, 12 yards, 1 point yard average. Got to find a different way. And what happens until Gerard completes some passes, they're going to stuff the box. They're going to put as many guys on the line of scrimmage as they can to make him throw the football.
Gerard in the air, trying to get it to Branson. Mark Branson, the intended receiver out of Fayetteville, North Carolina's Pine Forest High, and it falls incomplete. And that'll bring up a 4th down punting situation for Shaw University. And on the punt away will be William Sanders, who, remember, the last time he punted for -4 yards.
And in fairness to him, that wasn't really his fault. He had a bad snap that rolled back to him. And they've had problems with their snaps. They snapped the ball over their head, and now they rolled the last one back to see what they do here.
Jones is the deep man for Edward Waters. He gets this one away. Jones will field it and didn't call for the fair catch. And let's see if they saying that did he call for a fair catch? He didn't signal, but there's a flag down. Let's see what the flag is about. I didn't see a fair catch signal. Maybe they didn't give him enough room. The 2-yard rule.
And it seems like you saw an aggressive Shaw defensive player get there close. Wasn't going to give him much room to make it close. Wasn't going to let him think about it.
Personal foul, kick catching interference against the kicking team. Be a 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
So this is what happened as you look at Mr. Darnelius Jones out of West Palm Beach, Florida. He doesn't call for the fair catch, but was not given room to catch the ball. And he is hit immediately by Torrance Nunley. 100 yards for him a week ago. Up against Shaw University after the 15-yard interference with the catch. Let's go down to Mark Gray for an explanation.
Well, Charlie, Coach Greg Ruffin, in a vehement profanity-laced tirade, picked up an extra 15-yard penalty for trying to get the officials to understand that his kicker had perhaps been roughed. It may have been a situation where he was just planting the seed, but it was a 15-yard seed that makes it a 30-yard penalty. Let's go back up to you guys in the booth.
And it doesn't help the situation for Shaw University, who's trailing by 5 in this game, 12-7, and here's what he's complaining about. Let's see if it was roughing indeed.
I can't really see it there, and if so, it's just a great effort by the Edward Waters defender to go airborne and try and get a hand on the football the best way he can. He doesn't have much to argue about there.
At the 44 of Shaw, Edward Waters with the ball. Dexter Davis keeps it on the ground and hands off and into the gut of the defense. They keep the running game going, trying to keep it alive. On the running is Wilton Irvin.
Got a little bit of a running back by committee. They've had a lot of success running the football with a lot of different guys. Leroy Woods has broken a big one. Terrell Randolph has been the workhorse, and Will Norman has been a little bit of a combination back so far today.
Irvin, 3 carries, 9 yards so far this afternoon. Davis back to pass under pressure, and the pressure was coming from Maddox. And Maddox was right there as soon as Dexter Davis let the ball go.
And I like what they've done. Maddox is doing a good job of blitzing from the weak side. He's a weak side linebacker, just blitzing, beating his man. They're creating a matchup for him to come through untouched. And you can't have untouched players on the defensive side of the ball. Well, it's going to be a long day, not only for your quarterback, but for your offense as a whole.
3rd down and 7 for Edward Waters, the ball resting outside the 35 at the 36-yard line. Got a chance to see an old friend of ours, Ken Free, the former commissioner of the Michigan Athletic Conference, who is now the EIAC commissioner, which Edward Waters is a part of, as this pass is behind the intended receiver, and it falls incomplete.
I think what you're going to see here is an illegal motion penalty. They did a shift of a formation. It looked like a shift because you had two guys moving at one time. Both guys didn't get set before the snap of the football. 8th
penalty of the ball game. This one is against Edward Waters. It is an illegal shift. That's their 5th penalty of the game. Now the Shaw Bears have an option of taking the play of the penalty. They may just take the play and make them punt it away.
Especially when you have a team that you know can't.
Illegal shift, offense, decline, 4th down.
So they did take the play. 4th down will be facing Shaw, or Edward Waters rather. Edward Waters looks like they're going to come on and punt it away.
What probably would have happened if Shaw would have taken the penalty, Edward Waters would have just thrown the ball up for grabs into the end zone to be better than a punt, hoping that the Shaw defenders would have intercepted the football. So a little chess match going on here. So many intricacies in the game of football.
Jimmy Rhodes back to punt it away. Standing in midfield. Now the play clock ran down on Edward Waters.
That's one of those penalties that won't show up in the stat sheet, but it really doesn't cost you too much.
Dead ball foul, illegal substitution on the offense, 5 yards.
You give your punter a little bit more room to work with. All they want to do now is punt the ball and trap the Shaw University offense or the punt returner inside the 15-yard line. Anywhere from 15 on down, and Jimmy Rhodes will have done his job. Let's take a look and see if he's able to pin their offense back. The good teams get it inside the 10. On the college level, 15 back is what you want.
Rhodes has put 2 inside the 20 this year, but he's had 2 blocked also. 1 returned for a touchdown. Deep man for Shaw University, Sean Woodard, is averaging 16 yards per punt return. Get a chance to punt this one back. This one goes into the end zone, but we get a penalty flag, and it's sitting at about the 8-yard line. We saw a push in the back, and it was so obvious you could see it from way up here. I think everybody in the stadium saw it.
And that's one you just, kind of wonder why. I understand that's part of the learning curve, day by day. As they move forward, they won't have that penalty next week. This guy will learn. They haven't played a lot of college football. Just hope they learn from the mistakes and hope it doesn't kill your coach before you learn from all those mistakes or give him a whole head full of gray hair.
Well, the ball went into the end zone. Let's see. Our referee has been busy, Dan Stacy.
We have a post scrimmage foul on the receiving team. Illegal block in the back. It's half the distance from the spot of the foul. Receiving team retains the ball. 1st down, 10.
So it was the receiving team's player who did the pushing. And watch it. It'll come down right here, number 38, I believe it is, that from Shaw University, who comes up with the infraction. That's Danny Ragland. And he just pushes in the back. It was so obvious. Because, of course, he didn't want
him to down the ball on the 1-yard line. With the penalty, they get it on the 3-yard lines, which is just as close. I guess he was smart enough to save him 2 yards, if that's going to matter. But what happened, the Edward Waters defenders did a good job of beating their man off the initial kick and then playing baseball, just looking somewhere to make the catch and catch the pop fly ball. In this case, they got hit in the back, so there wasn't anything for you to catch. It seems like they've gone to yet another quarterback change. Maybe they figured
Kimbrough's back in.
That they've settled down Kimbrough, maybe from watching on the sideline. That bench will humble a lot of people, Charlie. I'll tell you that from experience. And it'll humble you and settle you down a little bit and make you go back to just reading your keys and just playing football. And I think this gives them a benefit because it's pretty easy to game plan against Girard. All he's going to do is run the football. Kimbrough will run it and throw it.
And, of course, Shaw University, coached by Greg Ruffin, 29 years of age, and talked a little bit to us yesterday about building this program.
It's a monumental task being able to bring football back, from scratch. I think for the program and for the university, it bodes well. It brings a new type of excitement, in the fall atmosphere, for the whole overall university as well as the athletic department. We're honored to be able to come in and be a part of the renaissance here at Shaw University in regards to football.
And you can put your legacy, your stamp on whatever happens, because you're bringing back something that's been absent for so long. So people are going to remember you either for the good that you did or for the bad that you did. One way or the other, you're going to be remembered. And Greg Ruffin, at 29 years of age, getting an opportunity to put his mark on this Shaw University program. The graduate of Lane College, was an assistant at Benedict. He was the offensive coordinator there last year, and now he's up in Raleigh, North Carolina. It is second down. One lone setback behind Kimbrough. Kimbrough back to pass, throws it out in the flat, and it's complete to the big fella Neal, but Neal doesn't get many yards as he's dropped at the 4-yard line. Before you head to the box office for the next new flick, we want you to get the real scoop on what's hot and what's not. And the way you can do that is watch Real Reviews. It comes your way Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. right here on the MBC Television Network. Third down facing the Shaw Bears, 3rd and 9. Ball at the 4-yard line. Kimbrough looking to go to the air. Throws incomplete. And he's intended that. I don't know who was he intended for, because it wasn't close to Rick Robinson. That's number 5. That was the intended receiver. But both teams having problems throwing the ball here this afternoon. Neither one has done a great job at that. 2 of 7 for Shaw, 2 of 11 for Edward Waters. 4 completions out of 18 attempts between the two.
And it seems like with Shaw, the West Coast offense is a very complicated offense to pick up. And I was a little bit surprised to hear them say that they were running the West Coast offense.
A little tentative movement by Donelius Jones, and we got a flag at the 49-yard line. It seems like we're having flags on almost every play now.
Is it Flag Day?
Flag Day in Jacksonville.
On the return, we have an illegal block in the back. On the return team, 10 yards from the flag, 1st and 10 for red.
Dan Stacy wanted to work today, but I don't think he wanted this much TV time, did he? As the referee.
Everybody likes being on TV, Charlie.
So at the 41-yard line is where Edward Waters will go to work. 6:11, the time remaining. We're in the first half, and we have a 5-point ball game, 12-7. We'll be back.
To Alltel Stadium, where Edward Waters leads Shaw University 12-7 with 6:11 to go in the second quarter of the inaugural Willie Gary Classic. We are joined by Congresswoman Corrine Brown. This is her district, and you are bursting with pride on this day.
Oh, absolutely. This is wonderful, wonderful for the community. We take great pride in Waters College, and of course Willie Gary is on the board and on the board for Shaw. So this is an honor to him. I mean, he's given so much to the community in this scholarship program, and we're going to make this one of the largest classics ever right here in Jacksonville, Florida.
Now, in the 10 years that you've been on Capitol Hill, you have witnessed and been a part of the growth of Edward Waters College, correct?
Absolutely. When I first got elected some 10 years ago, Ed Waters College had some debts, so over $4 million, and we was able to wipe those out, and now everything that we raise is invested into the college, which is very exciting for the college, and everyone in the community take great pride in Ed Waters College. Over 100 years right here in Duval County.
Congresswoman Corrine Brown, thank you for your support of the Willie E. Gary Classic. Charlie?
And we appreciate everything that the Congresswoman has done. You know a little bit about politics, Jay?
little something. A little something. And that just lets you know football is such a great game. It's good for the community. It's good for the students. More importantly, that's what this game is about, giving students an opportunity to remain athletes. What a great cause, and that's why we have a wonderful classic game here today in Jacksonville.
3rd and 10 from the gun. Next to Davis. Swings it out in the flat. Has it complete to Jones. Jones trying to get some running room and gets it across the 45 to a 46. Still going to be shy of a first down by about 5 yards. It'll bring up a 4th down punting situation. Not much going on for him over there. You know, Edward Waters last year, their first year after a 34-year absence, posted a 2-8 record. But their best season ever occurred way back in 1964 when they went 9-0 that year. Wow.
A little bit of did you know trivia there.
Punt gets away. And it'll be down inside the 20 at about the 16-yard line. So a 38-yard punt for Edward Waters. Jimmy Rhodes came into the game averaging 31.1. 12-7 our score. Shaw University with the ball, 1st and 10 at their own 15. A total of 86 yards for them today, 4 in the air. And they came in with more passing yards than they did rushing yards. There's the yards for both teams in the passing department today. They have made fibers out of us. We thought we were going to see some passing yards. Let's go down to Mark Gray on the sideline after Boyd's run.
Well, it's fitting that you mentioned Sean Boyd because he's replacing Reginald Rice. That's Rice who you see right there, who rolled his ankle a couple of series ago. They've got the ice on it, waiting to make a determination whether or not if it's sprained or not. If it's sprained, he won't be back in today. Back up to you guys.
All right. So Price will sit down for a little while. See if we can get it together. 3:30 time remaining here in this second quarter.
And, you know, that's not only a costly injury to the young man Price himself, but to the team because they were so excited about finally getting him back in the lineup.
Offense, 5 yards from the succeeding spot.
That they took their whole game plan, earmarked George Price having a big game today. Now you've got the backup in there. That's what happens in the game of football. Injuries just wipe out a whole game plan.
And Price, of course, didn't play against St. Paul. And last week, again, they had problems running the ball with him out of the lineup. But this week, they're having problems passing the ball. And look at the numbers here. The penalties, 11 between the two teams so far this afternoon. And again, there's Sean Boyd trying to get something going. He didn't play in the game against Allen University, in which they won 35-12. Neither did Kimbrough. He had a finger laceration, so he had to sit out. And you look at the Shaw University team. You know, this is a program that dates back to 1892. No football the last 24 years after they stopped in 78. And this pass is complete out in the flat, but not enough, I don't believe, for a first down. Let's see. Shaw University, they get it complete to Tariq Robinson. It'll be 4th down, 4th and about 2 yards to go. But they won the CIAA title, that is, Jay, in 1947. They went 10-0 under Brutus Wilson. They went 6-0 against CIAA teams that year, including 2 shutouts, and outscored those CIAA teams that year. 185-33 were named the Black National Champions. So both teams have had something to be proud of over the years. You know, one of the colorful guys on this Edward Waters team is Cedric Stewart. And we got a chance to talk to him. There he is right now with all of those pads on, kind of a rover back, about how he prepares for a game.
Well, basically, I mean, I have a ritual. What I do is I stand in the mirror for about 30 minutes, and I just tell myself I can't be blocked. I'm the best thing I do on the field, and just basically mental reps with myself, just keep saying positive things to myself.
You don't scare yourself?
Sometimes.
Okay. Yeah, he scares a lot of people. He scared me yesterday.
That's what it's like. That's the mentality you have to have on defense. I mean, you really have to convince yourself nobody can block me. If they have 2 or 3 guys on me, they can't block me. I don't care if that guy outweighs me by 120 pounds. I can't be stopped.
He likes Jack Tatum. I don't know how you even remember Jack Tatum.
I don't know either.
And he likes Steve Atwater. And he comes from a family of 10 brothers and sisters. I won't say why he said that. He comes from 10 brothers and sisters. But his father was a lieutenant colonel in the Army.
Military base rat.
He may not be able to go home. Here's Dexter Davis looking at some running room and has some. Should get the first down, spins, and he's upended just shy of midfield. He will be shortened by about a yard or 2 of picking up the first down. Dexter Davis, who started his collegiate career not as a player but as a student at Prairie View, did not play at Prairie View before matriculating here to Edward Waters.
And he's just a quality young man. His parents must be proud of him. He carries himself with class. He went to Prairie View A&M to go to school, not even to play football, just to go to school, then decided that he wanted to keep playing football because he's from Houston, Texas, and they play great football down there in that part of the country, and got an opportunity to play college football, made the transfer, saw he had a chance to play, and now he's got a tremendous future ahead of him. Matter of fact, he told everybody he was coming for your job, Charlie, so better start getting some retirement plans together.
No problem. Of course, one of the things that we're looking at here is a third down situation. 3rd and about 6 for Edward Waters as the ball is spotted at about the 48-yard line. So let's see what we have on third down efficiency. Edward Waters, 3 of 8 in that department so far today.
What happens is we get these obvious passing situations and neither team has found their offensive rhythm. That number has to increase for somebody to take hold of this football game.
And the pitch to the right side. Some running room if they can turn the corner. And close to the first down. Let's see if he picked it up was Leroy Woods on the pitch from Dexter Davis.
He did a great job. The quarterback did a great job of getting the pitch, knowing the contact was coming, pitching the ball to the outside. And then Leroy Woods did a fantastic job. Take a look at the quarterback. He knows he's going to get hit. Make sure you make a clean pitch as you get wiped out. And then watch the running back Woods out here. See where the first down marker is. And that left foot just got in with that extra spin.
He got out of bounds, I think, and that's where they're going to mark it. And he may not have the first down. They're looking at it very closely. Sherwin Dean was the man there to put the stop on him. Now they measure, and they did get it just by the nose of the football.
Doesn't matter.
They got it, right?
Doesn't matter.
That's the 4th third down conversion that they've had out of 9 attempts so far this afternoon. They came into the game in third down conversions 7 of 31, 23%. So the statistics haven't been that great on third down conversions, but they got a big one that time. With 1:30 to go here in the first half, Edward Waters ahead by a score of 12-7, and they have the football, first down and 10. Davis under pressure. He will not get it away. Shaw University, led by Walter Wells, came in to sack him.
In that case there, Davis has to do a better job of utilizing his pre-snap read. From the beginning of the play, you could tell that Shaw University was going to play man-to-man coverage and bring everybody but the kitchen sink at the quarterback. When you're getting blitzed with that much pressure, you got to hurry up and make your decision quick and get rid of the football in a hurry.
And, of course, Joe Bell is the board of trustees at Shaw University. We had a chance to sit down and talk to him about how important this classic is.
Gary, a dream come true. A dream of seeing football back at Shaw University, first of all, but seeing 2 schools that he was instrumental in helping come together and give honor to his name. It's one that we have children coming in, and so therefore Willie Gary loves to help children, so to expose children to things. And I think he's just like a new daddy. He's just so he's excited, we're excited, and certainly it will be a great event.
Joe Bell, board of trustees at Shaw, and of course we will have a tribute to Mr. Willie E. Gary coming up at halftime. We want to stay tuned for that. Plus, both bands are here, Shaw and Edward Waters. And for the first annual event, not a bad showing.
Not at all. They've got tremendous potential here at this football game. These two teams will be around for a while, and as they get better, more notoriety, it's going to be a great game.
Second down. A loss of 9 on that sack that time as Woods turns the corner to the left side, gets across midfield and into Shaw territory at the 49.
What you got there is, seems like Edward Waters is going to be content to take this lead in the halftime, and they may not press the issue and trying to get a first down, but they call a timeout. Maybe they're changing their minds.
And, of course, each week we present our Office Depot Player of the Week. And our Player of the Week comes from Grambling State University this week. He's a 6'1" sophomore quarterback from New Orleans, Louisiana, Bruce Eugene. And the young man passed for 422 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was 19 of 41, and Grambling's 49-14 went over Tennessee State in the Silver Dollar Classic in Las Vegas last week. And he was also the MVP of that classic. He also ran the ball 33 yards and a touchdown. And congratulations again to our NBC Player of the Week, Bruce Eugene from Grambling State University. Great quarterbacks down there in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, aren't there?
Oh, there is. I mean, you've got Robert Kent at Jackson State, Curry at Alcorn State. Richard may start finding his groove at Southern University, and Bruce Eugene's trying to throw his name up there with those guys as well.
12-7 is our score here. Edward Waters with the ball. We talked 7 years they win that conference. They won titles 4 years, 61, 63, 64, and 65. I think a player's trying to sneak off the field. Did you see him? There's no way that somebody's in motion 10 yards behind the quarterback.
You've ever seen a Canadian Football League game? They get in motion all over the place.
This is not Canada. I saw this young man. He was in motion 10 yards behind the quarterback. There was no way they were going to give him the ball.
What would have been worse is if the quarterback would have snapped it and tried to toss it to him.
But he was trying to sneak off the field, and there was no way. Where was he going to go? He'd have been better off staying on the line of scrimmage.
And maybe make the referee miscount you. Sneak in there 12 men on the field rather than trying to sneak out of there like he did.
3rd and 18 now. Davis throws incomplete. Intended for Dante Moffitt. Moffitt has not caught one yet this afternoon. And you know, we talk about these coaches building a new program. Let's talk to Edward Waters coach Lamont Massey about the opportunity he's been given to build a program.
When you have an opportunity to lead young men and matriculate and graduate from a college and to fulfill your own personal dream, it was almost a no-brainer. It was very difficult to make it when it came down to the financial side, but when you thought about the dreams, it was a no-brainer, and I enjoyed it, and it's been fun ever since I got here.
So it's a 4th down situation, and the young man, 35 years of age, who's a Tuskegee graduate, has been given the task, and he has risen to the occasion. At the 25-yard line is where the ball will be spotted for Shaw University with 47 seconds to go in the first half. And a 5-point ball game, 12-7. Just to recap the scoring, it was 6-0 Edward Waters on Grant's 2-yard run. And that was a result of that was their first drive, the opening drive. They took it down the field 69 yards. Then Davis, 11-yard pass to Gant after recovering a Shaw fumble, made it 12-0. And then Shaw got on the board. McGurk's 2-yard run with 45 seconds left in the first quarter. So all the scoring has been in the first quarter here this afternoon, and we have a 12-7 ball game. Here's Kimbrough. Throwing it down the field, man wide open, and it's caught inside the 30 at the 24-yard line. Great catch, great concept. concentration, and it was Payne who came up with the reception.
Fantastic job of the quarterback getting outside of the pocket along the left side here, and as he does, he's going to keep his head upfield to make sure that he sees the wide receiver running the deep route. Dwayne Payne is up here running wide open. He does a good job of keeping his balance, turning over to the left shoulder to the right shoulder, not falling down and stumbling on the reception there, giving his team an opportunity to score before the half.
From Anacostia High in Washington, D.C., hails Dwayne Payne. Started his career at Michigan State, one of 22 transfers on this Shaw University team. And that was his 7th reception of the year from the 24-yard line, rather. Here's Kimbrough. Steps up, throws again for Payne. Out of bounds. Incomplete.
A double move put on by Dwayne Payne on the outside. He beat his guy off the line of scrimmage with the initial hitch route. Kimbrough got rushed with his throw. Therefore, he wasn't able to make an accurate pass to Payne. Talking about Dwayne Payne, I had the opportunity watching this kid play in high school. Tremendous athlete, and Charlie can jump out of the gym.
But the thing is, you know, he hadn't played football since 1996. First time playing, although he went to Michigan State. He had the team's first touchdown this season when Shaw revitalized football. Here we have some movement. Let's see, flags are down. Here's a throw into the end zone. Battle out there for it, and another flag is in the end zone. 2 flags in the end zone, but it's intercepted. Let's see what those flags are. Down the sideline. And falling down finally after the return for Edward Waters is Jock Fenelon, the cornerback out of
come back.
Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We have a couple of flags. First of all, something happened in the offensive line. We know there was an offsides, but were they drawn offsides? Did the defense draw the offense and cause them to move? Then we have a pass interference in the end zone. Then we have an interception. So there's a whole lot of – this is going to be a long conference with these officials with 8 seconds to go, because you've got a lot of penalty flags and a lot of different things to sort out.
I'd like for them to use the abbreviated version. Just bring it back. Let's do it over.
Offsides on red. We also have pass interference on red. That will be the penalty that's accepted with automatic first down.
Well, that made it easy. Let's look at the offside first, the top of your screen.
This guy's got a little anxious to get there to the quarterback, and in doing so, gave up outside contain.
And here's the interference in the end zone. Not only was there interference, but there was a mugging, like you said, Jay.
They mugged the guy. That was the easy one to call there. The offsides, you don't know who drew who offsides.
But more importantly, even though the ball is going to be spotted first and goal at the 9, there's only 8 seconds left in the half. So now, strategy-wise, what do you do for your coach?
I think you try and take a quick shot to the end zone. You have time to throw a fade route to one of your taller receivers. Dwayne Payne, try and get one-on-one coverage with the wide receiver, the DB, and then kick it if it's incomplete.
Branson's at the top of the screen. Payne's at the bottom. Split backfield behind the quarterback, Kimbrough. 8 seconds to go. Kimbrough back to pass. Throws. Has it complete, but it's not enough for anything but maybe a 2-yard gain, and they used their last timeout, I believe, with a second to go.
The game clock reads 0. Is the official going to put a second on the clock for him?
So they may just go for the field goal. Let's see. Kimbrough is coming off. Even though the stadium clock shows no time left, there is 1 or 2 seconds remaining, because the timeout was called before the stadium clock got to 0. Our referee was the man who signaled for it, Dan Stacy. 1 second is the time remaining. Make it 2. They put 2 seconds on the clock. And now Shaw will attempt the field goal. And it'll be Chester Charles, a 24-yarder. He's already 1 for 3 this year. Let's see. This one is up. It's long enough. And it is good. So as we end the first half here in Jacksonville, Florida, it was Chester Charles splitting the uprights with a 24-yard field goal. And that pulls Shaw to within 2 points. We have a 12-10 ball game in the first annual Willie Gary Classic. Let's go down on the sideline and Nicole Watson.
All right, right, Charlie. Coach, some very crucial seconds there in the last minute, but your defense maintained their composure.
Yes, they did. You know, we've been doing this for a while, working at situations like this in practice, just trying to make sure we try to eat those 8 seconds away. And they walked away with 3 points, but, you know, hopefully at least it wasn't a touchdown. I think they have some momentum, but I don't think so right at this point.
Okay, penalties are a key concern. You had a penalty early on in the red zone, and then Jimmy Rhodes missed a couple of key field goals. What do you say to them to help them maintain their confidence?
Well, you know, Jimmy Rhodes is young. He's going to work hard. I mean, he's been working hard well. He is primarily our punter. I mean, he does an excellent job at punting, and, you know, that's a great job for him. But the PAT situations that we had, you know, he's been shaky on that, but he's going to get better every day.
All right, Coach, good luck in the second half. All right, the Tigers are going to go to work in the second half. Charlie J., back to you.
12-10 our halftime score. We're going to take a timeout. Enjoy some halftime activities here from Jacksonville and Alltel Stadium. We'll be back with that and more in just a moment. By 2 at halftime has turned the ball over 1 time. 13 penalties between the two and the time of possession. A 2-minute edge goes to Shaw University.
Some of those stats could be deceiving. The passing yards for Shaw came on a big pass at the end of the first half. So for the first half, their passing game was virtually nil and void, not there.
Shaw University head coach Gregory Ruffin is with us right now. Coach, you got off to a little bit of a rocky start in the first half, but you seem to turn it around at the end of it.
Oh, yeah, in the first half, we kind of was battling the field position, but as you see in the second quarter, we was able to gain the field position back, put Gerard Everett in, quarterback was able to change the pace some, drive the ball down and score, brought Jamonte back, he settled. I mean, hey, we're ready to play football. This is right where we want to be.
So will we look at a situation where you'll be shuttling quarterbacks in and out in the second half, or are you going to go with Kimbrough?
Well, it just depends on the situation. We're comfortable with both young men, so I mean, we don't have any problems with that.
How does the loss of Reginald Price affect what you want to do offensively?
Well, we have depth at running back, so that's not a problem either.
Good luck in the second half. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Coach Greg Ruffin of Shaw University. Let's go back up to Charlie.
All right, thank you very much. And, of course, the Edward Waters College team, they're leading here by a score of 12-10 at halftime. Jay, let's take a moment and look at some of the highlights of the first half. And first of all, what set up the first touchdown of the game by at the games will mail a postcard naming your favorite classic to Classic Clashes. MBC Network. The address is 800 Forest Street Northwest, Atlanta, Georgia, 30318. Keep watching NBC to hear more about the contest and the great prizes you can win just by voting for your favorite classic. Here's Kimbrough on the sideline. In the first half, he was 3 of 7, 59 yards. His longest pass was that 49-yarder that set up the field goal just before halftime. And Shaw, of course, won the toss to begin the game, deferred, and will get the second half kickoff here to start the final 30 minutes of play. Comes down to Woodard. And Woodard is stacked up at the 22-yard line, and that's where Shaw University will go to work to start the second half at their own 22.
Look for Kimbrough to try and get back into some type of offensive rhythm. Let's see if he comes out in the second half a lot more settled than he was in the first half. Early on in the game, he had that nervous anxiety. They pulled him. He seemed like he started to make some completions towards the end of the half to gain some momentum.
And Everett, of course, came in, and as you heard Coach Greg Ruffin tell our Mark Gray that he doesn't have any problems with playing either quarterback. You'll let them both get in there. Payne is the bottom to your left. See if they come out running to start the second half. McGurk's the second back in the eye. Do they give it to the up back in the eye? That's the big fella. And that is Mo Elliott. There he is, Mo Elliott. He is our NBC Student Athlete of the Week. Sophomore running back with a 3.1 grade point average in criminal justice. Had a chance to spend some time with him yesterday afternoon. Fumbled a couple of times last week. Got in the coach's doghouse, but out there playing this afternoon. Back to pass is Kimbrough. Overthrown on the far sideline. And one of the kids that you really want to get the ball to is that young man. That is for Shaw University, T.J. Mitchell.
We talked about him in the open. He's an exciting player. He's supposed to be a playmaker for him, but they haven't gone his way. They haven't called on his number a lot today. Obviously, in the first series of the second half, they want to continue to do that, or they want to start to get him involved.
It is third down, 3rd and 9. Kimbrough again wants to go to the air. Under pressure, will not get his way. And it's taken away. Touchdown.
Oh, my goodness.
Edward Waters College, and that's Aaron Jones.
Is that deja vu? Is that 2 fumble recoveries for him?
All over again.
Holy cow. This time he said, you're not going to stop me from getting to the end zone, as the big fella takes it in for 6.
So Jones with the fumble recovery returns it 6 yards for the score. And the second turnover of the day for Shaw University has resulted in another score for Edward Waters. So now a new kicker in for Edward Waters. And this is Christopher Hurst, the backup kicker. Let's see if he's any more successful in point after touchdowns. They've missed 2 already. Low snap, the kick is blocked. And so no success in the point after department, but more importantly, 6 more points on the board, and it's an 8-point lead for Edward Waters, 18-10. And let's look at the block here. Coming from the man in the middle, and that's Wally. Depot, what you need to know. By AT&T Broadband and by the Verizon Reads program. There he is, Mr. Jones. Me and Mr. Jones. Aaron Jones with the 6-yard fumble recovery for the touchdown. And Aaron feeling pretty good about himself right now. And of course, anyone would. After recovering one for a touchdown. He's a young man who transferred from Stillman College, came into the game with a forced fumble and 2 sacks. Here, Shaw University, Woodard almost falls down at the 15, trying to get to the outside. He can get a block, and he gets a pretty good block. Can he turn the corner? No, he's dug down at about the 22. And he knocks an official down on the sideline. So Shaw University getting the ball for the second time in the second half. And there is Kimbrough coming back in. That's his second fumble of the day, and each one has resulted in 6 points for the opposition, Edward Waters. First one occurring at 5:18 in the first quarter. And this one, 14:09 of the third. 1st and 10. Shaw keeping it on the ground, trying to turn the corner as McIver gets around and gets the first down.
Oh, what a great lead block by the big fella, Jeffrey Neal, the fullback. Obviously running on the left side behind Marcus McClinton and Christopher Hill. Jeff Neal just did that looks like an offensive lineman pulling there.
You call it a pancake block?
That is a pancake block. 6'1", 300 pounds. As we take a look at how Edward Waters was able to get on the football, what you have here is great team football. Jarris White is going to make a great job of coming up the middle and stripping the football, and what you have is the big fella, Aaron Jones, is on the receiving end of the football, being in the right place at the right time.
And here's a completion up the middle to Newton, the tight end, to Sean Newton, his first catch of the day, 6th of the year. He has a touchdown to his credit from Millen, Georgia, and Parda High.
And I'm a little surprised that Shaw hasn't exploited the middle of the field more. Edward Waters is playing a cover 2 coverage. It's plain Jane vanilla. It's a zone coverage, no pressure. Middle of the field is wide open all day if they can capitalize.
8 yard, make it about an 8-yard gain on the play. 2nd down and 2. Make it 2nd and 3. Keeping it on the ground again, and not any running room this time for Don McIver out of Lillington, North Carolina. Young man who transferred from Fayetteville State over to Shaw University.
Shaw's trying to set up a little bit of offensive tempo, running the ball, set up the pass, set up the run. 3rd and short is a reachable first down for this offense. 3rd long puts them in the predicament.
Ball spotted right now at the 48-yard line. 3rd down and 2, we'll call it. And nothing is there for McIver as Edward Waters, Travis Wyatt fill the hole quickly. Number 44. -2 yards on the play.
trying to spring the running back outside. Edward Waters wasn't having it. The defensive end there did a good job of doing outside contain. And Cedric Stewart, one of the guys we promoted earlier in the game, did a great job of filling the lane.
So they'll punt it away from their own 46-yard line this time. Once again, William Sanders punting it. Fair catch being called for by Jones, and drops the ball and falls on it at the 16. At the 16-yard line, there's a timeout on the field. Edward Waters with their first offensive possession of the second half, even though they have scored. A 39-yard punt for Shaw. Brought to you by AT&T Broadband. First down and 10 at the 16 for Edward Waters. They lead it by a score of 18-10 here at Alltel Stadium in Jacksonville, Florida. Charlie Neal along with Jay Walker. One of the things defensively that Shaw University's philosophy with DeAndre Clark, the Florida State grad, as the defensive coordinators, get your hats on the ball, and that's what they're going to have to do is keep Edward Waters from gaining any significant yards right now. Don't get out hustled. That's one of the things that they feel like they need to do defensively.
And they may have come into this game too reliant upon their defense creating points. They've gotten the turnovers, but they haven't created any points off the turnovers, something they've got to do in the second half.
And they came into the game with a number of interceptions, 13 to be exact, on the defensive side of the ball against their opponents, with Chapman, Sims, and Nunley, 3 interceptions each.
Yeah, you know what happens when you have a team right now, neither team is completing the ball, so they're not even completing it to the other opponent. They've had a couple of opportunities for interceptions, but those have been dropped, so it's been one of those type of days.
All right, third down and 3. Edward Waters with the hurry-up offense right now. Keeping it on the ground and running it nowhere that time for Terry Randolph, and Randolph dropped immediately. Now to bring up a fourth down punting situation. Here's Randolph right there, and again, punting the ball away will be Jimmy Rhodes. This will be his 5th punt of the afternoon. Fair catch called for, made by Woodard at the 45. And I'll tell you, one of the Shaw players, that is Rafi Sims, thought he was held, appealed to the referee, trying to get in there to block that punt, which turned out to be a 36-yarder. But the referee, it fell on deaf ears.
The referee just saying, just play football. Every now and then, it's a football game. You're going to get held every now and then. It's not a perfect sport. Sometimes they get attitudes too, Charlie.
Own 44-yard line is where Shaw University will go to work now, trailing by 8 points. And 2 of the touchdowns that they've given up have been by way of miscues. This one, a drop pass, which may have been the best thing that happened to Shaw. McIver was being covered very well by a linebacker out there. That was Joey Lopes, and he wasn't going to get far.
They're all over that. What's happening is Edward Waters has gone to some man-to-man coverage here because they don't fear the Shaw passing game at all. So they're playing man-to-man coverage. There was a guy that was accounting for the running back, and even if he'd have caught it, like you mentioned, it would have been a loss of 4 to 5 yards.
Second down 10. Kimbrough keeping it on the ground again, and the running back doesn't have a chance. That's McIver. And Jarris White, the right defensive end out of Jacksonville, Florida's range high number 4, was the man who really sent him spinning. He didn't know what direction to run in after he got hit by White.
He's been in the backfield all day. He caused a fumble earlier on the last possession, and this time he's in the backfield again, just disrupting the offense. Shaw University is going to have to take a couple of deep passes downfield, or else they're just going to get pummeled on the line of scrimmage.
Well, just before half, we saw them complete a pass down the field to Dwayne Payne that set up the field goal that pulled them to within 2 just before half. And we haven't seen them go back to it again. There's a man open now. Let's see if they can get it to him. And it's caught in and out of the hands of Mark Branson. He was open. Calvin had 2 or 3 steps on the defender, but the defender did a good job of, that's Glenn Walker, coming back and stripping the ball away.
What an excellent job covering the field. This cornerback on the outside, you talked about Walker, did a great job of covering 2 wide receivers for Shaw University. He got in there at the last second, came off of his man to come over and stick his mitten up in there and strip the ball from the wide receiver.
Would have made that complete as if Branson had just slowed up a little and used his body to protect and defend and shield his body between the ball and the defender.
Yeah, make yourself big. Make that defender have to run through you in order to get a hand on the football.
Punting it away, Shaw University.
Fumble.
And it's picked up by Shaw University. So maybe Shaw can take advantage of this.
Shaw better take advantage of this. They've gotten great field position for the whole half, and they're yet to capitalize. Come out and throw the football some more. They've got guys open. They find some leaks in their coverage. They've got to capitalize. As you take a look here, that's just aggressive football. Number 2 did a fantastic job of getting in there, going for the strip there. Nunley, he's been around the ball today too, Charlie.
From the Edward Waters 24, here's your look at Nunley. Nunley, one of the 3 men we talked about earlier, who has an interception today for Edward Waters. He had a big return last week, 100 yards. Here's Kimbrough throwing, has it complete, incomplete. They call it incomplete. Didn't hold on. That was Calvin Grimes, intended receiver. That's one of the things we've seen a lot. There's a lot of drop passes today by both teams.
And that comes from just inexperience, and they're not focusing, they're not clicking. They're having trouble throwing the ball. They're having trouble catching the ball.
You had a chance to talk to Jimmy Johnson, an old alum of yours from Howard University, played in the NFL, tight end, and what did he have to say about his receiving corps?
Well, he thought that they had to capitalize. They needed somebody to step up and make plays. That right now everybody's kind of watching each other. He doesn't know who his go-to guy is just yet.
Fumble. And offensive lineman just happened to be there on the spot as McIver fumbled the ball and Antoine Nards saved the day.
Good job in this type of game. You just want to keep your eye on the pile. Balls are just falling all over the place. They may want to check those footballs, see if there's some grease or something on that ball. His own guy caused the fumble. Jamar Wilkes, they tried to run a
his own guy didn't cause the fumble. He ran into his old man and he dropped the ball.
They tried to do a power G with the lineman pulling, and as a running back, he's got to wait a little bit. That's that timing we talked about. When you've got a guard pulling, you've got to give him time to clear. Those big fellas can't get through the hole as quick as a running back. Therefore, he ran into his own guy.
At the 26, 3rd and 12, Kimbrough trying to set up. Buys a little time, has it complete, and almost a 2-yard gain as the completion is to Calvin Grimes.
That's kind of that helter-skelter football right there. That reminds me of the old Sandlot. Oh, okay, I'm going to run over here to the right. No, I'm going to go back left. All right, you go down to that car on the right fender, turn around, and I'll put the ball on you.
And we got a 4th down situation. They're going to go for it on 4th and 10 from the 24-yard line. 7:35 left, 3rd quarter. Shaw with the football, trailing by 8. Kimbrough back to pass. Into the corner, trying to get it out there to the receiver, and that is Dwayne Payne, and he got tangled up with the defender down there, Leonard Ellis, but no flags, and they turn it over on downs. So we'll be back to Jacksonville in just a moment.
With the score, Edward Waters College 18, Shaw University 10 in the first annual Willie Gary Classic. And joining us right now is somebody who you're familiar with from the entertainment world, actor, comedian extraordinaire, Tommy Ford. And Tommy,
yes, sir.
What brings you to the Willie Gary Classic?
I tell you, when a man like Willie Gary called the house, my wife said, Willie called, he said he needs you. I said, tell him I'm busy. I'm in LA, I got things to do. He said he's helping young folk. I said, all right, book the ticket, I'll be on my way. So to admire a man who has so much, they're giving so much, to take the time to offer that helping hand to the young young people is really important.
And when you talk about helping young people, you're talking from a person who's embarking on the same type of endeavor.
Absolutely. You know what? There's a difference. People watch the Martin and say, Simon, you ain't got no job. There's a difference between your occupation and your job. Your occupation is what I do to eat. My job is my assignment that God gives me. So I'm glad that Mr. Gary understands that because of the success of his occupation, it gives him a platform to do his job, which is to reach out and help our young people.
How's this game going to finish quickly?
Well, it's going to be a sad day for Mr. Gary, but it's a good game.
Actor Tommy Ford coming off of a bad leg injury, but he's still hanging out with us here at the Willie Gary Classic. Let's go back up to Charlie Neal.
All right, I hope you got a round-trip ticket. You may have to ride Greyhound home.
You don't bite the hand that feeds you.
So it'll be 3rd down and 11 for Edward Waters after a couple of running plays have gained nothing. Back to pass is Davis, and he has it complete and close to the 1st down. Now they've stepped out of bounds at about the 31-yard line. It will not have enough for the 1st down. Here's the man on the receiving end for Edward Waters. That's Michael Spann. Spann, the tight end, the transfer from Upper Iowa. Our student athlete of the week for Edward Waters is that young man, Michael Spann. You saw a little bio on him. You know, Edward Waters started the season, as they said, they came into the game 1-1, Jay. They beat St. Aug, another CIAA school, 18-7, and they took the ball away 4 times, so that enabled them to come away with the victory there. Last week against Mars Hill College, in fact, they had a 2-week layoff, and some ways some people feel, and especially Coach Lamont Massey, that they lost an edge by having 2 weeks away, and they lost that game 39-27. But more importantly, they showed a lot of character because they were down 25-0 in the ball game, came back and lost 39-27. They allowed an interception for a touchdown and a block punt for a touchdown, which made it 18-0. And we'll be back with more from Alltel Stadium. 5:57 left, 3rd quarter in a moment. 4th down, punting situation for Edward Waters. Sean Woodard, fair catch, call for, made at the 30-yard line. It has taken a tremendous effort on the part of a lot of people to make this the first ever Willie Gary Classic a success, and our hats go off to Willie Gary, the Gary Foundation, the Board of Trustees at Shaw University and at Edward Waters College for their continuous efforts on behalf of historically black colleges and universities. 38-yard punt that time by Jimmy Rhodes, and now 1st down and 10 at their own 20, make that the 31-yard line for Shaw University. And they get some running room this time, keeping the ball on the ground. And look at Shaw trying to pick up something with Sean Boyd running the ball.
Good hard-nosed running. If Edward Waters wants to continue to play that cover 2 defense, you have to be able to run the football effectively. Great run by Sean Boyd.
Ellis there to make the stop defensively. He's been pretty active. Edward Waters, an NAIA independent. They're in the EIAC in other sports, and some of the other schools in the EIAC are Allen University, Barber Scotia, Claflin, Morris College, and Voorhees. Here's a pass out in the flat, and it is complete. Ellis again on the stop, and on the receiving end for Shaw University is Irvin Simpson.
Great job by Leonard Ellis getting physical with the wide receivers. If the wide receiver is going to make the catch in front of you, attack to the ball and punish him on the tackle.
Simpson comes in the slot to the left. Dwayne Payne is wide. Branson at the top. On the draw play. To the 45-yard line. Boyd again. He's bounced around pretty good. Stewart was one of the men there defensively to make the stop.
This is that type of game when the game has no rhythm to it. A lot of times the coach will try and jumpstart his offense with a little trick play, a little trickery, something to get him going. Let's see if that becomes a factor later on.
Second down, 6. A great catch. A try on a turnaround. He had to come back for it. Mark Branson downfield. He has a couple of receptions already this afternoon. That makes it third down. We'll call it 3rd and 7.
I like the play call in there. Quarterback's getting into his rhythm a little bit, starting to take shots downfield. Now you keep Edward Waters off balance. Are they going to run or are they going to throw?
You've been saying that as you look at the third down conversion. Shaw 0 for 11 in that department so far this afternoon. Kimbrough looking over the middle, has it complete, but it will not be enough for the first down across midfield into Edward Waters territory. He's going to be about 2 yards, maybe a yard shy of a first down. And to bring up a 4th down. Now let's see what they do. Do you go for it? Do you punt it away? They may even measure. It's close enough that they're going to measure for it. So if you don't get it with inches, what would you do in this situation?
I think in this type of game, since you're in the middle of the field, I think field position dictates whether or not you go for it. The ball's this close to the middle of the field, then I think you go for it in this case because you haven't done anything on 3rd down. Maybe 4th down is your lucky down that you need.
And you cross the midfield stripe, and you said they were 0 for 11 in 3rd down efficiency. 0 for 12, yeah.
Wow, they got it. First 3rd down conversion of the day.
So it was a first down, just enough on the pass completion for the first down. So 1st and 10, 1 of 12. They were 1 of 2. They're 50% in 4th down efficiency. So
they need 4 down. They say they give you 4 downs to get a first down. Why not take advantage of it?
No question. Although Edward Waters is 4 for 12 in 3rd down attempts this afternoon. Here's Kimbrough. The stats on him, 7 of 17 now, 79 yards. The most important thing, he has not been intercepted, even though he has fumbled the ball twice.
And those are stats that you normally see when a team is blitzing you a lot. They're not doing too much blitzing. That's why that completion percentage needs to be a little bit higher.
Moving people around, play clock, going down on him, and the pitch. Boyd trying to get to the outside, trying to turn the corner, does, gets the first down, and run out of bounds in front of his own bench.
Great job of stretching the defense there by Boyd. Running outside. He had a great lead block by Maurice Elliott, the fullback, lead him outside on the stretch play.
12 yards on the carry. Hold on to your popcorn. He's coming into the living room.
And turned it on the Jets. Number 90 there almost pulled some trying to catch him. Hit there late out of bounds. They could have called something. They got to get out of that habit of doing things like that. Where it could have been a great run and they could have been penalized even further to make it a better run for no reason.
36-yard line is where the ball is spotted. First down and 10 for the Bears of Shaw. Trailing by 8. 3:11 left 3rd quarter. The pitch right now. They try to go right and a bobble on the pitch by McIver, who didn't make it easy for the offense because it delayed him just enough to let the defense catch up. A loss of 1 on the play. Make it 4. Loss of 4 on the play.
Jarris White has been all over the football field today. That young man there has been wreaking havoc in the backfield of Shaw University. He hasn't allowed them to even get a pitch off, an option. Everything they've tried to do, he's had an answer for it. So I think Shaw University needs to find an answer to Jarris White.
2nd and 14 after that loss of 4 by McIver. Kimbrough back to pass, throws, has a man over there, but he overthrew him, and that again was McIver coming out of the backfield, and he was covered by Chauncey Denton out of Cordele, Georgia. There's the stats on Kimbrough so far, 7 of 18. He came into the game 35 of 80, 417 yards, a pair of touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. He's already completed his longest pass of the year, 49 yards. The previous long pass was 42. This is a big third down play. Remember, they're 1 of 12 in that department this afternoon. This is 3rd and 14, a fumble. He bobbles it, picks it up, throws, nobody's there. Just throws it away. Nobody home. 4th down. Now do you go for it again? The ball's in.
I think you kick it and you try and pin your opponent inside the 10-yard line. Make them drive the length of the field and ask your defense to make a play.
Okay, Sanders comes on. The punter came into the game with a 35-yard punting average. Today he's punted, this will be the 8th time, averaging 32 yards a punt. Jones is the man standing at the 10 for Edward Waters. And he just punts it straight up in the air, and a fair catch is being called for, and he's hoping to get a roll. And it rolls inside the 15, dies at the 13. And last night had a chance to talk to Mr. Gary at the banquet about what it means to succeed. Quarter, 2:04 remaining. Edward Waters with the ball and trying to get some running room, trying to go left this particular time with Wilson Irvin on the carry. Irvin picks up a yard to about the 14. Again, most of the scoring done in the first quarter, with the exception of with no time left on the clock in the second quarter. There was a 24-yard field goal as you look at the total yards between the two squads this afternoon. That pulled Shaw University within 2 points going into the locker room at halftime. And again, Irvin trying to go right, loses maybe a yard back to the 13. It'll be 3rd down and 10. And then in the third quarter, near the start of the game, or the second half, I should say, Jones fumble recovery after Shaw got the ball to start the second half. A few plays later, Jones took it in 6 yards for the score. We have not had an extra point converted this afternoon by either team. Incomplete. Don't forget, next week we have doubleheader action here on NBC. Our opener will be at 2 p.m. Winston-Salem against Fayetteville State. That'll be Winston-Salem's homecoming. And Jay and I will be in Dallas, Texas at the State Fair Classic. That'll be Prairie View and Grambling, a SWAC matchup. First one features the CIAA. Winston-Salem having their homecoming. And I'll tell you, Jay, believe it or not, do you like rides at parks?
Depends on how high they
roller coaster. That's right. I forgot you're afraid of heights. I didn't mean to tell everybody that. I was going to take you on the roller coaster in Dallas next week. You can go with me, you'll be all right. Okay?
If you go, I'll go.
Oh, I don't have a problem. Yeah, I'm not afraid of heights. Okay. So on 4th down, another punt forthcoming for Edward Waters and Jimmy Rhodes. Standing at the goal line. Edward Waters punting it away. Sean Woodard fields it at the 45. Turns the corner and is knocked down at the 45 of Edward Waters. So, pretty good field position after a 41-yard punt by Jimmy Rhodes.
Get back to that trip to Texas. Obviously, we saw in our top 10, the Gramblings ranked pretty high up there. It'd be interesting to see what they can do with that player of the week in Black College football last week, Bruce Eugene. Looking forward to taking a look to see what he has to offer.
And of course, Prairie View, Deshaun Baker, a man who not only is their quarterback, but doubles as the punter for the Prairie View Panthers. 24 seconds left in the third quarter. Now they chop the play clock. Shaw with the ball. Kimbrough back to pass. Has it complete. and trying to get to the first down marker and doing so with a second effort. Great second effort for Shaw University. On the receiving end, Irvin Simpson.
I like the effort that he put there. He knew the contact was coming from the inside of the field, lowered his shoulder, put his helmet down, spun, extended out to make sure that his team got the first down. That's a great football play.
May not get this play off before the quarter ends. That is going to be the end of the third quarter. So when we come back, it'll be a first down and 10 for Shaw. Only one touchdown here in the second half, and that was Jones recovering the fumble by Kimbrough. He picks it up. The big fellow rumbles 6 yards into the end zone.
We're at the third quarter of the Willie Gary Classic with Shaw 10-18. Edward Waters is leading this ball game. And with me now are two gentlemen, Jerry Holland, who is the president of the City Council of the City of Jacksonville, and Michael Weinstein. They are flanking Mr. Gary. Gentlemen, tell us about this special presentation that you have for Mr. Gary.
Well, what we've got here is the city, the key to our city, which is also the key to our hearts. And I tell you, we just think so much of Mr. Gary. We're proud to host this first Classic, and we hope it goes for many more years.
Excellent. Mr. Weinstein, tell us about what he means to the city of Jacksonville.
Well, he made all this happen. He could have had this anywhere, and we're just so blessed that he came here with Edward Waters College and with Shaw University to make this Classic. And hopefully Jacksonville can keep. It's all Willie Gary. He did it all himself.
Willie Gary, now you got a key to the city. What else are you going to do?
Well, I hope it will unlock a few banks around town. Now, I'm just so happy and proud that the city of Jacksonville and all of the good people have wrapped their arms around this Classic, these two historically black colleges. I can't thank the city enough. And of course, my good friend Mike Weinstein, this guy is just, I mean, what can I say? His leadership, his counsel that he's given to us during these last 45 days been just phenomenal. And that's why he gets my vote for the mayor of Jacksonville in the upcoming election. All y'all go out and vote for him. Thank you.
All right. Now, I want to tell you all that he's got this key, which is a very, very nice key. You know, Mr. Gary has received a lot of awards, but I will tell you all that he's been on the sideline serving as a coach, if you will, yelling and screaming at the monitors, wondering why they're not running the ball or doing the thing.
They're aging me. I can't stand it. It's just a competitive game, and either way, I'm going to win. I'm on the board of trustees at Shaw University. I'm on the board of trustees at Edward Waters College. So at the end of the day, I'm going to win either way.
All right, a very worthy recipient of the key to the city of Jacksonville. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you. Good opponents this season, 32-7 in the fourth quarter. So let's see if this holds true as we are in the fourth quarter here. We've only had one play. This will be the second play after the injury of Simpson.
Did I hear Mr. Gary say he hopes that key is to a bank or something like that? Can he leave some of the money for some of us?
Well, that's what he meant, so he can open the bank so we can go in there and get some. He has all he needs. Kimbrough, under pressure, gets it out, incomplete. There's another headache ball. I'll tell you, Joey Lopes was right there to make the stop, and these receivers are going to have some few choice words for Mr. Kimbrough after this
game. Right now, if you play wide receiver or you're on the receiving end of a pass come from Mr. Kimbrough, make sure you got your chin strap on tight as you can get it.
And we have another player shaking up, this time from Edward Waters. He's down at the 45, getting up slowly. And that's the man who scored the touchdown, Aaron Jones, who's getting up slowly. Jermonte Kimbrough, you see the stats on him. But Aaron Jones was the man who ran the fumble in for a touchdown.
We've talked about two big hits we've seen on the last two plays. That you're going to see is Kimbrough looking at the wide receiver and not looking at the guys in front of him. The area to be open is going to be if he puts a firm pass on him, he's okay. But he's not looking in front of the wide receiver out here, out that way. He's looking to throw the ball directly to him. That guy's running across the zone. You've got to put it right on him. Don't lead him into the zone.
Kimbrough with the little rollout to the left, has some room, could run it. Decides that he is going to run it, takes off and runs out of bounds. Down at about the 25-yard line, close to another first down, but probably will be short by about 2 or 3 yards at about the 24.
And the defensive Jermonte, I mean, he's scrambling out there for his life. His wide receivers aren't doing a good job of getting open. I saw a couple of wide receivers there stop running their route. As a wide receiver, you never stop running your route. When your quarterback is scrambling, it's your job to bust your butt to get on the same side of the field that he's on.
talked about the points that Shaw University is allowed in the fourth quarter. Edward Waters has only allowed 7 points from their opponents in 2 games in the fourth quarter. Now timeouts being called by Kimbrough as he didn't like the offensive formation. And of course, this is a fourth down situation, so you want to make sure that all the principles are in place and that the formations are set the way they need to be set.
Definitely so. You're already looking at an uphill battle. Don't make the hill that much more steeper.
There's a timeout on the field, 14:37 remaining here in this contest in Jacksonville. You in part by the Verizon Reads program. 18-10 our score. We're in the fourth quarter. Charlie Neal, Jay Walker, fourth down play coming for Shaw University. Fourth down and 4. They are 1 of 2 in fourth down conversions so far this afternoon. This is a big one. Back to passes. Kimbrough throws over the middle. Caught for first down at the 24-yard line. And on the receiving end of that one is Calvin Grimes. So there are 2 of 3 in fourth down conversions.
Great job by your quarterback, Jermonte Kimbrough, of knowing that he's going to get hit when he throws the football. You see they're going to bring a blitz from both outside. He stands there and he gets rid of the football, knowing that he's going to get hit. Good job of staying in the pocket, showing some poise that he's a fearless quarterback.
Well, they say maybe he didn't get the first down. I thought he had enough, but they're going to measure to make sure. As you look at Calvin Grimes, a freshman out of Decatur, Georgia, Grove High, came into the game with 8 receptions, and he has plenty for the first down. I thought it was, but they wanted to make sure.
But all they got to do is ask Charlie Neal.
Hey, I'm up here and I can see that. So the drive stays alive for the Bears of Shaw. 18-10, fourth quarter, 14:25 remaining. The clock running right now as you look at Kimbrough out of Mobile, Alabama at Blunt High. Played on a couple of high school state championship teams down there at Blunt in Mobile. We'll be in Mobile in a couple of weeks, and nothing happening for Boyd that time, trying to turn the corner. And he was hit immediately by Jarris White, who's played a whale of a game on the defensive side of the ball.
We said he's been a disruptor on the defensive line all day long. Defensive end just turns on the jets. That's just a missed blocking assignment. They tried to run a pulling guard stunt. He slid in between the guard and the tackle to get upfield to cause the loss of the game.
6-yard loss to be exact, making it 2nd and 16 back at the 30-yard line. There's Jarris White, local young man from Rains High. The pressure. They're going to call intentional grounding on Kimbrough as the pressure was applied up front by Charles Frazier. There's a young man from Miami High. Came into the game with a sack so far this year. And there's the call from our referee.
He was not outside the box. It's a loss down at the spot.
And what Frazier's going to do is a great job of keeping the quarterback inside of him. They tried to do a naked bootleg. Frazier wasn't fooled at all. Wrestled the quarterback down and made him throw the ball out of bounds to get an intentional grounding penalty, which is a loss of down. Plus, the sack counts as well.
Now, a 3rd and 31. Penalties between the two squads. Band playing, and I think they're trying to get the band to stop. That is this Edward Waters band.
You're getting away with one there. The band's not that loud. You try that down at some of these schools with these larger bands, the Marching 300, 100 down at FAMU. They can crank it up as he gets ready to go into conference play. If he thinks he's hearing the band now, imagine what he's going to hear next year.
As the offensive team, Shaw couldn't hear the signals. Needed the band to be quiet. Kimbrough, 3rd and 31. Throws Intercepted should have been. Had his hands on it. That was Leonard Ellison. Let it go. That's the second one he's dropped this afternoon.
Leonard Ellison, he's done a great job of anticipating where Kimbrough's going to go with the football. He's done everything but make the catch for the interception. And that could have been a big one because right now Shaw is driving.
Fourth down. They're going to stay with it again on 4th and 31. You remember they're 2 of 3 in fourth down conversions today. This is a big one. They're at the 40. They have to get inside the 15 for first down.
Look for the quarterback. All you want your quarterback to do is throw the ball deep into their territory. If you throw an interception now, it really won't hurt you. It'll be just as good as a punt.
Rolling out to his left, looking, throwing long, has a man in the end zone, but overthrowing the receiver gave up. If Payne keeps running, that's 6 points.
And he's done that several times today. It's kind of why your quarterback has such a bewildered look. All you want your wide receivers to do is give you everything that they have.
There's a timeout on the field. There's still an 8-point ball game. We'll be back.
You've seen them on the fields, on the courts, and now you can learn about who they really are when NBC Network presents Sports Lifestyles. Join baseball great Cecil Fielder every Friday night when he hooks up with all your favorite sports stars. From Jamal Anderson to Barry Bonds to the legendary Shaq. Don't miss Sports Lifestyles, Friday night at 8 on NBC Network, your family's urban network.
Are you a homeowner? Do you want to refinance and lower your payments? Or get a home equity loan to consolidate bills or get extra cash? So how do you find which lender will give you the best deal? It's easy. Just call America's Lending Partners. We help thousands of homeowners every month find the best deal on their loan, and we can help you too. America's Lending Partners is a large network of lenders who offer hundreds of loan options. With just one phone call, we match your loan request with not 1, not 2, not 3, but up to 4 prominent lenders. Then, most importantly, the lenders call you at your convenience. You can compare offers, compare options, and decide which loan is best for you. Whether your credit is less than perfect or it's perfect but you don't have a lot of equity, America's Lending Partners can help you. And best of all, our service is free. So if you want to refinance, consolidate bills, or get extra cash, and you want a great deal, call America's Lending Partners right now. 1-866-ALP-0008. That's 1-866-ALP-0008.
48 to go in the fourth quarter. Edward Waters on top by 8 points. And let's take a look at our long-distance play of the game, Jay.
What you're going to see early on in the game, Leroy Woods came out and set the tone for his offensive day today. 46-yard run, scamper down the sideline, making some people miss, turning on the Jets for our AT&T broadband long-distance play of the game.
And that set up the first touchdown of the game. All from the shotgun. Edward Waters with the ball, keeping it on the ground. Not much running room that time. As they get to the 40-yard line, and we get some new faces in the Edward Waters lineup. This time running the ball is Mike Mobley, number 25, Madison, Florida, sophomore. Second down and 9 after a gain of 1 for Mobley. Back to pass, a little screen pass out in the flat. What a play. And it goes good yards to Mobley, and Mobley picks up the first down across midfield. Mobley has come off the bench and made some things happen, made some noise.
This play here is Derek Davis all the way. Look at what he does to get the ball. Just make sure you get the ball to your playmakers. 2 guys in his face, a little flip pass that won't show up so well in the stats. 2-yard pass turns into a 20-yard gain. Great play by Dexter Davis. And that's what we're talking about, the things that don't show up on paper, the leadership, the ability to make plays.
Run after the catch, 21 yards on that pass play. Dexter Davis rather today. Let me call him Derek, Dexter, whatever. What is it?
Dexter. Great young man, Dexter. Mama named him Dexter. I'm going to call him Dexter.
Yeah, no question. He is a nice young man. We got a chance to spend some time with him yesterday. Some of his teammates. And now we have another reception. I didn't know if that was complete or not. It looked like it may have hit the ground, but the officials are saying it is a completion down to the 26-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10. Edward Waters on the move. This drive started at their own 40-yard line. Now they're at the 26 of Shaw University. High snap. Dexter to get to it, and he does. But a big loss back to the 45.
I mean, that's what you were talking about, the leadership. Obviously, it's easy to tell there was a terrible snap there. But what did Davis do? He hustled to get on the football. That was a key play right there. That could be the play of the game right there. If this ball's recovered by Shaw University, they get some momentum. He did a good job of using his body to edge out the defensive back, the linebacker that was there trying to fall on the football. And they say quarterbacks aren't athletes.
Right. Chris Peavy was the man who was battling Dexter for that loose football, transfer out of Lafayette University, Syracuse, New York. From the shotgun again. Yeah, that ball is a little more deliberate in its almost should have been. And having a hand on it on the defensive side was Khalil Sutherland. There he is out of Hollywood, Florida.
And Khalil should have had that interception right there. But one of the things Khalil has to be thankful for is the fact that he's playing football this year at Shaw University against Edward Waters. Our flavor of the game goes out to Edwards and Shaw for bringing back something that's going to be around for a long time, black college football.
Live and kicking. Dexter on 3rd and long. In pretty good position early on. Here, maybe we have something happening at the 15-yard line. Shoestring tackle saved the touchdown, but the completion is for a first down, 1st and goal. Well, not make it 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line.
Take a look here. You see the middle of the field is wide open. This guy just got to beat his guy on the inside and try and split the seam to go in for a touchdown as we watch the play. He misses his guy off the line of scrimmage. He gets to the middle of the field, and then he turns on the Jets. This is a game-saving tackle because if he would have scored that touchdown, there's no coming back. He just got him there. Get your hands out there. Way to grab on and wrap on to something there. That could be a big play if they don't convert.
Cornelius Jones on the reception. He's good for 31 yards, and now we have a completion from the 5, touchdown. And this time on the reception is Dexter Gant, and that is his 2nd touchdown reception of the year.
He's got 2 today. Great job of making one guy miss. The quarterback, Dexter Davis, did a fantastic job of getting the ball to his playmaker. Dexter Gant did a great job of making the first defender miss, and then turning on the speed to get to the end zone.
So Dexter Davis has thrown 2 touchdown passes today, both to Gant. That one was for 14 yards after the 31-yard completion on the previous play. And now for the point after, which has not been artistic this afternoon. It's been an effort in futility. Finally, we get an extra point made this afternoon, and Edward Waters increases his lead to 25-10 with 9:52 remaining here in the 4th quarter. Big play. Davis to Gant. Good for 14 yards and 6.
NBC salutes historically black colleges and universities.
Located along the banks of the St. Johns River and the coastline of the Atlantic Ocean is Jacksonville, Florida. A city over 1 million strong, here for the sunshine and a better quality of life. It is also home to an African Methodist Episcopal school whose roots date back to 1866, a college that in recent times has undergone a revitalization whose president, faculty, staff, and students have reclaimed it for what it once was and will be again. A rising star among Jacksonville's institutes of higher learning, Edward Waters College is finally realizing its vision and fulfilling a very important mission.
Tomorrow belongs to the youth of today. MBC Network salutes Edward Waters College for its role in securing our future.
What's that?
Metamucil.
Get out. That's a cookie.
The power of powder in a wafer. Tastes so good, you won't believe it's Metamucil. Get regular, stay regular. The cookie way.
I need to make a collect call.
My man, just be cool. Dial 1-800-CALL ATT for collect calls. It's free for you and cheap for them. Dial right down the center. 1-800-CALLATT.
What's this? Save on every call. Use 1-800-CALL ATT for collect calls.
The Willie Gary Classic is brought to you in part by the Verizon Reads program. We have a 25-10 score. Edward Waters just scored. Gant with his third reception of the afternoon, and he's put in the end zone for 2. And don't forget, next week, doubleheader excitement right here on NBC. Fayetteville State challenges Winston-Salem, and Winston-Salem's homecoming at 2 p.m. Then Jay and I travel to Dallas, and the Cotton Bowl in the State Fair Classic is Prairie View. Falls it out with Grambling in a SWAT matchup at 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll be there live from Dallas next Saturday, and I'm going to get Jay on a roller coaster. It's the last thing I do.
I've been on a roller coaster before with you, driving in a car with you, Charlie.
Well, that's not a roller coaster. That's a land jet. Shaw University needing to get something going and trying to get the ball back up the field is Sean Woodard, and let's look at the touchdown pass once again. Davis to Gant.
Well, one of the problems when you get man-to-man coverage, these two people have to stay close to each other. If you've got a playmaker on the outside here that can make somebody miss, then you've got a guy that can get to the end zone with no help over top. As you see the pass and the completion on the outside, he'll make the first guy miss, the second guy comes up, tries to help, and he shook him before he even got to the end zone. Pointing, strike up the band, celebrate, get ready for Edward Waters. They look like they're trying to bring home this home victory.
15-point advantage right now, 9:43 to go. Shaw with the ball. They have not been an artistic offense here in the second half. Here's Kimbrough, who's gone all the way in the second half, trying to get it in the air. Here's Payne, and Payne never made an effort to go after the football. I don't understand that one.
I mean, you got a quarterback that's picking himself up off the grass, and you can't lay out to extend for a football. You've got to at least give that type of effort. I mean, you're 6'4". If you lay out and jump, you can extend 8 feet. It's just something I wonder if he may be a little banged up, too. It has been a very physical ball game. You can tell Kimbrough there is just taking shot after shot, but having the courage to stay in the football game.
And the man who's shaken up on the play defensively is Jacques Fenelon out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Let's look back at the beginning of the game. We talked about keys to winning for Shaw University, and let's see how it's panned out so far.
I definitely think in terms of forcing turnovers, I would give them an A grade right here. Creating offensive touchdowns, they found the momentum later on, so let's give them a B grade there. Improve on special teams play. With those missed extra points, I'm going to give them a C minus. So let's just keep it consistent. ABC.
ABC minus.
We take a look at Edward Waters. Did they protect the football? They haven't. They fumbled. That's counted for 2 touchdowns with the big man. Stop the Shaw running game. Well, we saw that Woods broke a big run earlier, and then Davis to Moffitt. Has that connection been there?
Moffitt hasn't caught a pass today.
I don't even think our viewers know who he is, Charlie.
Dante Moffitt, who is the man who they expect a lot of good things from. It's 2nd down and 10, and he has not caught anything today for EWC. Shaw with the ball, though. 2nd and 10. Kimbrough rolling right again. Throws incomplete on the near side. Trying to get it to Simpson.
One of the things as a fan of football that gets a little difficult to watch is when you have a team that loves to run, anytime they get behind in a football game, you see how uncomfortable they look in trying to throw the football. It's almost like they don't have a clue. That's why you coaches hammer in that game plan so much and try and dictate to the defense. When the defense dictates to you, good things are not going to happen for you normally.
Shaw has thrown 31 passes so far this afternoon. They average 27 passes a game, but they have not been very successful in the passing attack today. As movement, left tackle moved a little bit prematurely.
We mentioned they've thrown 31 passes, and we still have 9 minutes to go in the 4th quarter, so that number is going to be up there around 50. And I think if you ask Coach Johnson, as well as
false start, offense 5 yards from the succeeding spot.
Marcus McClendon, the left tackle, move. Let's go down to Nicole Watson.
Well, Charlie, there's no question that Jacksonville is a hotbed for football talent. 19 players on the Edward Waters roster are from the Jacksonville area. And you ask, how hot is it? Well, they have an NFL Jacksonville connection. They have a huge contingent, including some present and past players, including Rod Gardner from the Redskins, Brian Dawkins, who plays with the Eagles, Leroy Butler, who is a former Packer, and, of course, the late, great Bob Hayes, who played with the Cowboys, Charlie.
And And just look at not only Jacksonville, there's one high school here that's produced a lot of people. We talked about Raines as we saw that pass go incomplete, bringing up a fourth down punting situation.
Yeah, but Raines year in and year out is always putting players in the NFL. Even at Howard University, I played with 6 guys from Raines High School, and all of them started. So that lets you know that they go all over the country. We got guys go to Mississippi State, SEC. They're all going to Raines. And the challenge for Edward Waters is just keeping those guys home.
A punting situation again as you look at the deep man, Dornelius Jones for Edward Waters. This is William Sanders punting it away. So it's knocked out of bounds. That is Jones at about the 27-28 yard line. So Edward Waters with a 15-point lead and 9:16 left in the fourth quarter. We'll get the ball when we return. You need to know by AT&T Broadband and by the Verizon Reads program. The time remaining is 9:16. We're in the fourth quarter. It's the first annual Willie Gary Classic. We're at Alltel Stadium in Jacksonville, Florida. And Edward Waters with the lead has the ball, 1st and 10. And they have it complete. Coming out of the backfield. On the receiving end is the tight end, Span, McQuell Span, on the reception.
Great job of just getting something to get the drive going. A little 5-yard pass, let your tight end look for some contact. I like the fact that Span was looking for somebody to hit. That's what you want from your tight end. You don't want the tight end trying to throw moves. You want him to try and hit somebody.
14-yard gain on the pass play to Span. Davis operating out of the shotgun. Looks like he wants to throw the ball more here late in the game. And here's a little floater out in the flat. And again, those heavy balls, he's quarterback, getting people killed out here today. Tibolino on the reception.
That's just something.
Or was that Mobley on the reception?
That's just something. We got a defense that swarms all over the football. You can't put that much air on a pass. It's only 3 or 4 yards downfield.
Yeah, because that young man had blood in his eyes. That's Devin Chapman out of Greensboro's Guilford High. 3 interceptions for him already this year. And he was looking for something to happen on the defensive side. That'll bring up a 2nd down, 2nd and about 8 after the gain of 2. Flare pattern or fade pattern down the field, trying to hit Dante Moffett, who's yet to catch one this afternoon.
I'll tell you what that is. Remember when we talked to Coach Massey, you remember how he described his offense? He said it was a AAA offense. What does AAA stand for? Attack, attack, attack. Right now he's got his team. He's got a team where he wants them, and they're continuing to attack.
3rd down and 8. They're putting the ball in the air. They're putting air up under the ball. 8 minutes to go in the contest, and leading by 15 points. A lot of mistakes in this game by both teams. Fumbles. No interceptions as of yet. Although there should have been some. And here's a breakaway for a 1st down on the reception by Gann, who has a pair of touchdowns already today. Loses his helmet in the process.
He's a good-looking player. He's got great size, 6'2", 190 pounds. He's got some speed. He can run, and he's shown here that he's a big play receiver in a big-time game.
14 yards on that reception by Gann, a junior out of Port St. Joseph, Florida. Went to St. Joe High down there. 4 receptions today and a pair of touchdowns. First and 10. Tight end Span was in motion, and Davis saw something he didn't like, so he's going to call a timeout with 7:22 remaining. Nicole's downstairs in the heat. How you doing, Nicole?
That's right, Johnny. It's very, very hot out here, but withstanding all the heat is Lorenzo Williams. He is a partner in Mr. Gary's law firm here in Florida. And Mr. Williams, you're also a first-time investor in MBC. Tell us why you had the insight to see that this was going to be a great network and organization.
Number one, we realized that there's was a void in America for good, wholesome, clean television programming. And once the opportunity presented itself, it was a no-brainer that America needed NBC to fill the gap, to educate our kids, to give our kids hope, and also to give the nation a new form, new programming, and good, clean, wholesome, family value programming.
You're also a graduate from Shaw University. Tell us about the combination of network coverage for this football program.
Well, I think it's so important that we have an NBC to bring young men into the homes of African America. More importantly, for small historical black colleges, this is unique, genuine exposure that parents otherwise wouldn't have the opportunities to be here in Jacksonville, but can watch their sons on national TV.
Okay, Mr. Williams, thank you so much for giving back. All right?
You are. Thank you.
Charlie, back to you.
All right. Lorenzo, always good seeing him. And Edward Waters keeping the ball on the ground again with Mobley running straight into the gut of the defense. Picks up maybe a yard to the 40, where it'll be 2nd down and 9. And the bands are just going back and forth. They're having a battle of the bands here in the 4th quarter. See the tuba player, and you see how shiny these instruments are. Both bands have been revitalized in the last year, and everything that they have, not only the football players, everything is new. Of course, when you come in as a coach, they didn't have chin straps, they didn't have weight rooms, they didn't have a whole lot of stuff. Neither did the band. They didn't have uniforms, instruments, or anything. So that's why those tubas are so shiny up there.
Brand spanking new. You know, we always talk about black college football so much more than just the game on the field. We've got the tailgate in the parking lot. We had Morris Day in the Time last night with the concert.
And you did the bird. Did you get up to do the bird last night?
I had to do the bird, Charlie. Right. I had to do the bird.
Leave it alone. It has been a great weekend, and you know, you have to start somewhere. And this first ever Willie Gary Classic has made an impact on the city of Jacksonville and on these two schools, Shaw and Edward Waters, and this is just the first of many to come.
And the good thing about it is, got something to build on next year. If this game continues out the way it is, Shaw's going to be seeking revenge. So this is going to grow into a rivalry.
And before you head to the box office for the next new flick, we want you to get the real scoop on what's hot and what's not. This week, watch Real Reviews. Comes your way Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on the MBC Television Network. And we have a 25-10 score. Player shaken up on the field for Edward Waters. Being helped off is Clinton Chasteen, offensive guard. Let's go to Jay doing the bird. I think we may have a shot of you up.
Oh, no.
Uh-huh, you didn't know.
Hey, who was that guy right there? I'm not alone. I'm not alone.
Who was that, Mark?
That's Mark Gray right there with me.
I went to bed. See, I can't hang with you youngsters.
It was a good time by all. I mean, those guys being from Minneapolis, and I played for the Vikings, so it was funny to know that Jerome knew who I was.
I know you knew him. 3rd down facing Edward Waters and 4 at the 35 of Shaw. 5:50 to go, and that's going to be a flag. We may have interference against Shaw University, which would give Edward Waters a 1st down with 5:54 to go in the 4th quarter. So you never know where the camera is, do you, D?
I'm learning. I'm learning this, Charlie. I'm learning. I knew there was a reason you did not go with me to that concert last night.
Well, don't catch me up there, bro.
You're my partner in crime. You go with me everywhere, but you didn't.
We have illegal motion.
No show last night
on the offense.
So it was not pass interference, but it was illegal motion on the offense.
Some of the things that go on, we've got a lot of things here to distract you in the football field. You've got the band that's cranking side to side. You've got the dancers, the women, everything else. And you also got to watch Jay Walker and Mark Gray do the bird. We got Mark on the sideline. He can do it for us some more, you know. We see here, they've got a warning earlier for the band. I know they want to party and whoop it up because they got a 25-10 lead, but they got to know that when the offense has the ball and they break the huddle, the music has to stop. As a quarterback, I used to hate that.
3rd down and 9. Kimbrough throws, has it complete, and breaking tackles and trying to get to the 1st down marker, and I think he did. May have been a fumble. Let's see what's happening. A lot of people surrounding the football after the completed pass, but it is going to be a 1st down.
A fumble in that case would have been costly. You got Sherwood Dean trying to get some extra yardage here, but he's got to be careful. You can't afford to penalize your team. Get down. After you get enough yardage to get the 1st down, just catch the ball here, tuck it away. You get enough yardage, you go down right there. That extra little, he fumbled the football, got a fortunate bounce. The ball came right back to him, but you got to learn just to get the 1st down and go down.
At the 28-yard line, 1st down and 10, 5:27, the clock running here, and a 15-point lead for the Tigers of Edward Waters College, 25-10. Now keep the ball on the ground and run it to the near side. And on the running play is Mobley. Mobley getting it down to about the 25-yard line. A gain of 4 on the play to be 2nd down and 6.
Well, I'll tell you what separates this game from the others with 5 minutes left to go. Everybody's getting an opportunity to play. When you have a lot of freshmen on your roster, everybody needs all the playing experience they can get. Even though you're up by 15 points, those freshmen, they don't know the difference. So they're just looking forward to being able to play in and play out.
And we talk about when you're starting up a program, you know, you got a lot of freshmen. Of course, this year doesn't count for Shaw University's eligibility. They get that first free year, and we'll address that in a moment. Here's a little flare pass out in the flat, and Davis manages to get it out to Mobley, the running back coming out of the backfield. But going forward, some of the hurdles that coach is going to face in terms of building this program. He's got a bunch of freshmen in. How about recruiting and things of this nature?
Well, I think going into a conference, you know that they know they have to go out and recruit junior college players. They have to have some type of experience. Look at the play here by Davis. Fantastic. He missed the option guy. Then he does a little flip pass to his running back to move the chains. Also, that goes along with joining a conference, though, is you have conference restrictions. You can't bring in everybody that doesn't necessarily qualify, that doesn't have the academic requirements. When you're a club football team, you can do that. But I do think that you got to have the same opponents you're going to play year in and year out. The thing about the game of football is your opponents are game planning against you just like you're game planning against them. So they start to know you a little bit more.
And it is a 1st down for Edward Waters. Let's go down to Mark. Mark?
Thanks a lot, Charlie. Joining me right now is one of the members of the delegation from Jacksonville who is representing them in Tallahassee. We're talking to State Representative Terry Fields, and it's got to be great to have a whole lot going on this weekend for the African-American community in Jacksonville, with the linchpin being the Willie E. Gary Classic.
It's a wonderful thing. We're very excited about having it here. We're looking even forward to a bigger thing on next year. Willie Gary has done so much for both Shaw University and Edward Waters College, and, you know, it's just a good weekend.
This is also an opportunity for you to show off the sports marketing viability of the city of Jacksonville when you're getting ready to host the Super Bowl in a couple of years.
You're absolutely right. You guys here at MBC have done a wonderful job showcasing the city, showcasing everything that we have with our young people here, and we're looking forward to you coming back again.
How significant is it for Edward Waters College, based in Jacksonville, to play in Alltel Stadium?
Oh, it's very significant. It shows members of the African-American community that they can achieve this. You know, they could play here just like the NFL superstars.
State Representative Terry Fields from the city of Jacksonville hanging out with us here at the 1st Annual Willie Gary Classic. Let's go back upstairs to Charlie Neal.
All right, 2nd and 2. Thank you very much, Mark. Here's a touchdown. 6 points for. And guess who catches it? The first catch of the day for Dante Moffitt. We've been saying he needs one, and he got one. This one from 11 yards out, and Davis throws his 3rd touchdown pass of the afternoon.
Sooner or later, we knew he had to show up somewhere in the game plan. He's too good a player to get shut out of a big game like this in front of a home crowd in the NFL stadium. I'm just glad to see he got his touchdown so he can go home and brag about it rather than have so many regrets about his first experience in Jacksonville Stadium. Alltel Jacksonville Jaguar Stadium.
Yes, indeed. And known for the point after touchdown now is Jimmy Rhodes, trying to make it 2 PATs in a row and trying to stretch the lead to 32-10. Now the band's playing, and Holder calls timeout. They've had problems getting the right people in the lineup for the point after. Every time they've had to bring somebody off the bench, they're not there and ready to go.
Great job on the quarterback, Davis, doing a pump fake to freeze number 24 there in the booth as Moffitt ran around the outside. Watch the quarterback's footwork here. He's going to take a 3-step drop, give him a pump fake, and then release the wide receiver to go. That's his key. You see the pump fake there, put the ball up there with plenty of air, allow the wide receiver to run up under the football. Great throw, great catch. Edward Waters College Tigers running away with it.
Talking about this stadium, Alltel, 2005. This will be the site of the NFL Super Bowl. 78,000 this seat here. Home of the Jaguars, who tomorrow will host the New York Jets. Tomorrow afternoon here.
And a game that has a lot of fantasy league football value to some of us fantasy players.
Well, only you would know that. I have to play in the real world. I can't.
Don't try it. Once you start fantasy football, you'll be hooked forever.
3:15 left in the fourth quarter. Edward Waters making the hometown fans happy this afternoon. And here comes the point after. They lead it by a score of 32. Make it 31 right now to 10. Trying to make it 32. High snap, kick is up, and it is good. No good. Well, one of many this afternoon that has been missed. So it's 31 to 10. But this is a drive that started at their own 28-yard line. So this was a long drive. 72 yards to be exact.
As we go to what we call the drive of the game here, you're going to see Shaw University getting it going. They start off with a pass out there, and then you're going to get a sweet pitch outside with some good hard running there, putting helmet on a helmet as they culminate in with some great running by Clinton McGirt on the inside there for the drive of the game to make this a close ball game when they were down 12-0 early to make it a 12-10 game.
But for Edward Waters, their last two drives, a 60-yarder, now this is a 72-yarder, have resulted in touchdowns. The last drive was ended in a 14-yard pass from Davis to Gant, and then Davis just another touchdown pass. This one to Dante Moffitt. Moffitt's first catch of the afternoon, but a big one. Now getting ready to kick off with 3:15 remaining. Edward Waters has dominated. They led 12-0. Closest that Shaw got was 12-10. And here's a return back out to the 40-yard line. And that was Sean Woodard on the return. And if you want to keep tabs on what's happening around the black college sports circuit, we ask you to visit MBC Network's website, MBCNetwork.com. You'll see sports schedules, contest interviews, and much, much more. Also learn about our programming and the type of programming that the entire family can watch. That's the MBCNetwork.com.
Well, I am definitely looking forward to coming back to Jacksonville, Florida, Charlie, aren't you? Must not like Jacksonville. You're not looking forward to coming back to Jacksonville?
Got all sides. It's the defense. Well, maybe it's on the kick. They may re-kick this. I think that's what's going to happen. They're not going to take the re-kick. They're going to take the ball.
We have encroachment of the neutral zone on the kickoff. The penalty is declined due to the return.
So they're going to take the ball at their own 41-yard line. And this is Shaw University. 8th possession of the second half. One ended in a fumble. They turned the ball over on downs twice, and the rest of the times they punted it away. Here's Kimbrough with the long pass over the outstretched hands of everybody, the intended receiver on that particular play. That was Calvin Grimes. Grimes has 4 catches already this afternoon. And we have a player for Edward Waters who's down at about the 18-yard line.
college football is back at Shaw University.
Your leaders getting into it, aren't they?
They sure are. Even though the team's taking the loss on the field, still a good time, a reason for you to go out and celebrate. You could be in Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina. Instead, you're in beautiful Jacksonville, Florida. Not to say that Raleigh-Durham is not a beautiful area.
It's probably raining up there. we missed Isidore. We got here, we sent it north, but we came south.
Definitely so. And the band, you're right, Charlie. Those tubas are sparkling.
2nd and 10, 2:55 to go. Kimbrough rolling left, sets up, throws. Incomplete down the far sideline. What a flag is going down. This pass was intended for Irvin Simpson, and we're going to get interference. Looks like against the defense of Edward Waters.
Pass interference. Defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
And what you're going to get there is a case of the defensive back running at the receiver instead of turning around looking for the football. That's an easy one for the official to call. You're a DB. You have to turn around and acknowledge where the football is rather than just running trying to cut off the wide receiver.
And Leonard Ellis was the man guilty. He's played a whale of a game on the defensive side of the ball, but that's one mistake that he made this afternoon. So the ball's spotted at the 44-yard line of Edward Waters. Made a good showing here in front of the hometown crowd here this afternoon in this first annual classic. Their 3rd game of the year, and their record will fall, or I should say improve, to 2-1, while Shaw University will go to 3-2. Kimbrough again rolling left, looking for the out pattern, has it complete. Right at about, but another flag. Let's see if we're going to get roughing or holding. Which will it be?
We have a personal foul. Roughing the passer on the defense. 15 yards. Automatic first down.
Kimbrough had the ball gone a while before he got hit. So it was a first down anyhow. Either way, the ball was all the way down to the 35-yard line.
And this is just something that you just don't need. Quarterback is clearly throwing the football.
Oh, yeah.
He did a forearm shiver to the head. I mean, you can't do that. 1, you can't hit him in the head. And 2, after the ball's gone, you got to freeze up.
There's a penalty. 18 penalties between the two schools. And, of course, Coach doesn't like to see those type of penalties. That was Dante Doyle who picked up the penalty out of Lakeland, Florida.
I'll tell you one thing I love, Charlie. After you always see a personal foul that, on the next play, you know where you always see the player? Over there on the sideline where Mr. Doyle is right now. That's the most consistent thing in football.
Ball spotted inside the 20. 1st and 10. Kimbrough rolling right this time. And it's incomplete at the 1-yard line. On the receiving end was Mark Branson.
Branson got to come down with that football. The quarterback Kimbrough did a good job of getting outside of the pocket. You know you're going to get hit anyways. We say week in and week out, you're going to get hit anyway. You might as well catch the football. That was a good throw by your quarterback. He's got to hold on, give his team an opportunity to score. And because of the drop, we're going to set up a 2nd and 10 here with an opportunity, if they get it going, for Shaw with the onside kick and the 2-point conversion. This game is not quite over if they can manage to punch it in.
Kimbrough with the backside pressure gets it complete, and it's down inside the 15 to about the 14-yard line.
2 minutes to go. They got to have a little sense of urgency. Right now, they should be running a no-huddle attack. You're down by 21 points. You got to score as many points as possible in a short period of time. They need to utilize a no-huddle offense.
Charles Bennett was the man on the receiving end of that last one. 3rd down. 3rd and about 3. There's a man inside, but it was knocked down. Trying to hit the man on a quick slant. Coming across was T.J. Mitchell. And we have a player down. Next week, the Bears of Shaw University will take on Hargrave Military Academy, while Edward Waters takes on Weber College. Next week will be, that's Jay and I, will be in Dallas for the 8 p.m. game, the second game of the doubleheader. State Fair Classic game. Classic popular and possible because it was a lot of hard work done by a lot of people from a lot of different areas, especially the MBC crew and staff, all of our camera people here and producers and directors, and my main man, Eric Moore, is always my right hand. I don't leave home without him. Make sure I have all the right information and statistics. And this one's going to be intercepted. First interception of the day. Bounces off one man and into the hands of another player. So we have the first interception of the afternoon, and it's Vinny Mosquito who brings it back after the interception with 1:30 to go.
And that's just kind of every now and then in football, when you have those days, you have those days. They didn't get an opportunity to get into the end zone as much as they wanted to, as frequently as they wanted to. He was mistake-free and up until that pass right there, which kind of got the interception.
And you don't know if that's all his fault or not.
Yeah, tip balls normally aren't.
So Edward Waters can run out the clock, 1:30 to go. Let's see if they do that, or if they're going to put the ball in the air. You know what you said about attack, right? No, they keep it on the ground.
And that's the right thing to do. I mean, this is going to be a team that you're going to face year in and year out. You guys are both have programs that you're trying to grow together. No need to rub it in your opponent's face. I'm sure that Shaw University is just as anxious to get out of here as Edward Waters is. Class act by Coach Massey and by both coaches, as well as Coach Ruffin.
And these are nice, good young coaches who you're going to hear a lot from in the future. They believe in discipline. They believe in good young men. And I just saw Coach Massey get dumped with the Gatorade on the sideline, on the far sideline, and I'm sure he probably welcomes it as hot as it's been this afternoon. You don't want that when you're in Green Bay in December.
No, you don't. He's probably looking saying, you guys got any more of that?
But in September, in Jacksonville, you'll take it.
Nicole mentioned it's, 105 degrees down there on the field. Makes you feel
a dead ball, foul, false start, offense.
Charles, let me ask you this. I'm a former player. Do you feel guilty at all? Should be the final play of the game. Just take a knee here. A couple extra yards.
Just hand it off. And that's it. Clock continuing to run down to 10 seconds. Edward Waters is going to walk away victorious in this one. Coach Massey, talking to him this week, said he's a little further ahead than he thought he'd be after camp. Although he felt they lost the edge last week after the 2-week layoff. But they've gotten it back this week after the narrow loss a week ago to Mars Hill College. They come back and score 31 points in their 31-10 win over Shaw University. Let's go down to Mark Gray on the sideline.
Well, I'm with Coach Gregory Ruffin of Shaw University, and Coach, things just didn't work out for you today. Where did it turn?
Well, we thought we had seen some momentum in the second half, come back out, get a turnover, kid picks it up, runs it in for a first down. I mean, that was kind of indicative of how they went today, you know. They did a good job of defensiveness, I mean, and we just didn't play well offensively. I mean, and I think we played well enough on defense to win, but we just didn't play well offensively. That sums it up for us today.
In a battle of teams that are both in their infancy, do you think they had an advantage?
No, not really. I just feel like we didn't play that well today. We didn't come to play today like we normally play. So, you know, my hat's off to Edward Waters.
Thanks a lot, Coach Gruffin. I know you want to get back to your team. Let's go back up to Charlie Neal.
All right, thank you very much, and very class act on the part of Coach Ruffin. Come on after a very heartfelt loss, I'm sure, but there'll be many more days to come, and they came in here with a 3-1 record. Our MVPs of the game for Shaw University, Javonte Kimbrough. There's the stats on him: 9 for 29, 95 yards, and Walter Wells on the defensive side with 5 tackles and a sack. For Edward Waters, next again, 4 receptions, 51 yards, a pair of touchdowns, and Jarris White on the defensive side with 6 tackles, a sack, and a forced fumble. So we say congratulations to our Office Depot MBC MVPs of the game. Jay, your thoughts?
I think that the key in this game was Jarris.
And his ball club is the president of the Willie Gary Classic, Kenneth Gary.
How's everybody doing? First, I'd like to thank all of our sponsors and all of you for coming out to make this first annual Willie Gary Classic a success. And next year, we hope to have more success. We're going to start out by introducing the Shaw University offensive and defensive players of the game.
All right. Actually, Coach, we're going to go to Coach first and present him. Coach, I know you want to say a few words on being the first champion of this great event.
I want to say thank you to the Jaguars for presenting this opportunity for EWC and Shaw to come here and play well. All right, let's give it up for the Jaguars. Next, I want to thank Dr. Jenkins for having the vision to have football at Edward Waters College. Without this, these young men would not have an opportunity for scholarship and to excel in for the rest of their lives. And this football team is a group of young men that have persevered, and I love each and every one of them. And finally, my coaches have worked diligently. My coaches have worked diligently, and their families, and the EWC families and the supporters in Jacksonville. Thank you.
Excellent. Kenneth, you have this great trophy for Lamont. Tell us about the future of this event.
Well, like I said, this is just the first of an annual event. We had a great turnout, and we're expecting even more and more with the years to come. This is going to be a major classic one day to come. So we want everybody to keep continuing to come out and support us.
All right. A great matchup it was with Shaw University. We're flanked by Joe Bell from Shaw, the president of Edward Waters College, Jimmy Jenkins, and of course, we could not do it without the sponsors from Office Depot, Dave Delaney in the back there. Congratulations to all of them. Coach, did you have one more thing to say?
Yes. I would like to present this to the visionary, Dr. Jimmy Jenkins.
All right.
Dr. Jenkins.
All right. Excellent. Okay. Again, history has been made here. The Edward Waters Tigers are the winners of the first Willie E. Gary Classic. Charlie, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Nicole. The final score, 31-10. Edward Waters over Shaw. And don't forget, coming up next, an encore presentation of the Delaware State-Florida A&M game. And don't forget, next week, a doubleheader. Winston-Salem's homecoming. They take on Fayetteville State at 2. And then Purdue against Grambling. That comes your way at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central Time from the State Fair in Dallas. For Jay, Nicole, Mark, and Dwayne, and all of us here at NBC Sports, Charlie Neal, so long from